There I am. There you are. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Hollistics. This is my first podcast of Hollistics. And it's very exciting because I've been on other shows and other podcasts, but today is a new beginning. And it's a new show. I've wanted to do this for so long. And everything you see, hopefully it's working right. And this is like the first couple minutes is housekeeping as I, explain where everything is. I think this is on Facebook. I think this is maybe on my music page. It's supposed to be on YouTube right now. It is on our VOPUSAradio.com. Yeah, so it's all up there. And yeah, so I'm Hollis. And this has taken me so long to set up. So you could see it. Hopefully it's working. And there is a chat over here. So if anyone's in the chat room, I want to see these comments. I think I saw one. And I just want to say hi in there. See if you guys see that. All right. So why do my own podcast? We're in a day and age where everybody has a podcast. And you think, I meet people and they're like, I want to do a podcast. I want to do a podcast. And I've always wanted to do this show. And obviously it's called Hollistics. And for a long time, I was like, what is it going to be about? What can I talk about? Obviously, people who don't know me, they don't know anything about me. But some people who do, and if there are people watching on Facebook or YouTube, they know I'm a musician. And that's kind of have been my identity. That's been my identity to a lot of people. They only know me as Hollis the musician, from back in the day from my band Love Zombies, and I was in the UK, and I lived in New York, and I met a lot of people along the way, Los Angeles, London, and I traveled the world as a musician. But this show is going to be a little bit different, and it's kind of crazy. I'm like, I don't really get nervous. It's like going back up on stage again, right? But I was actually always felt I was born to be on stage, and that's why I did music for so long. But there's a lot more to me than music. And what we're going to talk about on this show in particular, especially this episode, because this is episode 1. So as I was preparing to do this streaming stuff and this microphone you see and the cameras, there's a lot that goes into it. And over the past literally 5-6 years, I went from not knowing anything, how to do any of this stuff, to building actually my own TV platform, believe it or not, my own radio and television platform. So right now, it's kind of a big milestone tonight. And what's today's date? I just heard my phone beep. Today is March 14th, and it's 2026. It's taken a long, long time to get here. And there was reasons why I didn't come back sooner, because I was building something very special and very, what can I say, in different facets of what I've been building. They all kind of work hand in hand. We're going to get into all of that, from Voice of Freedom Records to the TV platform to doing this today. And this took so long. As I say, if you look up on the screen, you see these little animations. Believe it or not, right here, I don't know if you guys could see, I'm sure you can. There's this little cup. This is a tip jar. And it took me so long to figure out how to set this all up. But if you guys want to test it, what you do is you're going to go over here, this little QR code. And if you scan that with your phone, you can leave a tip. And if you leave a tip, a little penny goes into the cup. So that's the on-screen animation. And I can't wait to see if it works. So feel free to test it out. Now, from the beginning, I want to say here, we have a little goal down here. And I am going to be giving away something very special when I hit my goal. Probably not going to be tonight. It might not be for a while. I know I'm new and nobody knows me really yet. But as we get the little tips, as this goes up, and hopefully it will, and it hits 100, that would be $100. I'm going to give away something special. And that's a lyric sheet that I wrote. It's a hand-painted lyric sheet. And this from my new album. So I'll talk a little bit more about that. But just in case you're wondering what that is, if you have a phone, you just scan it, you tip there. And also in the chat room there is a link up there for the stream. It says streamlabs.com/voiceofpeopleradio tip. And that's where we could see the animation drop onto the screen and we'll get a golden coin. I'm very excited about all of this. So that took a long time. And so back to really why I wanted to do this podcast and what it's going to be about. So in a couple minutes, I'm going to play a video that I actually recorded last week. So trying to set this stuff up, I was like, I had a set. I still have a set. It's in my other room. And I didn't know how to like go live with this camera. And one computer I have a Mac computer, and then I have a PC computer, and nothing works together, and you have to bounce back and forth. So I'm actually live right now, but I did record this last week, and it's about something called the Reconnection Movement. And if you see above on the screen there where it says the Reconnection Movement, there's something under there, a little writing, it says real humans only. And then even over on my thing over here about the bots who watch, the humans tip, scan to trigger the little coin drop there. You know, I never thought, well, I did think about this, and it's going to make more sense after you watch the video, but we would be where we are right now in this day and age with the AI and the takeover and the machines versus humans. And I think just a lot has changed since I've been back in the world. Now, I've always been in the world. I just mean in front of the camera and putting myself out there. And I'll get into that as you guys get to know me about my story about music and being in the music industry and how I left Hollywood. And a lot happened, you know, it was in 2015 that I wrote something called the Reconnection Movement. And this is on my website. You could go to the website, hollismahady.com, and you could download a copy for free. And I wrote that about basically, like I said, it was over 10 years ago now. And it was then when I was looking around and seeing everybody on their phone all the time. And I remember thinking then, I'm like, oh my gosh, like no one is looking at each other. Nobody's connecting to each other. And since then, it's just gotten a million times worse, you know, and being a musician and a creative in this world and trying to navigate it now, not only are we competing against, you know, I hate to say the word competing, but come on, the music industry, entertainment, it's always this competition. I lived in Hollywood not forever, but for a long time. And it's very cutthroat and competitive and just a hard business. And now in 2026, you throw in machines into the mix. And now I'm actually competing against machines. I have a whole album I wrote. It took me a whole lifetime to write. And coming back into the world and about ready to release this album that's taken me a lifetime to write. It's taken so long. It's cost a lot of money. I've done it myself. Every note, every lyric, everything is from me. It's from my soul. And I dedicated a lot of my life to this because for me, it wasn't, you know, just to be a rock star. It was something I felt called to do. I feel like I have a lot of purpose and there's depth to it. And now, even at this time now, putting it out and coming back like almost a decade later, I can't believe it's been that long since I was in London with my former band Love Zombies. So much has changed. And I find myself now back in the game, right? And I'm out there like trying to put things on Instagram, and I'm seeing and Facebook and TikTok, and there's just so much, and YouTube, and it's so much, and you're just trying to break through this noise, this wall of like noise, you know? And honestly, sometimes I'm just like, ugh, I'm just disgusted. I don't want to do it, you know? But I do want to get my message and my music out there and all that. So instead of trying to chase that and compete with that and get buried in the noise of it all, I saw this problem happening many years ago. And I remember thinking, I have to carve a different way. I have to find another path. I have to find those few people, or the minority, not the majority, but more of the minority of people who are out there, who are still human, who are still real, who still are wanting to connect, you know, because as this goes on and on, the AI stuff, it's only going to get worse. And there's no stopping AI. So as you see, as I said, real humans only. This podcast, really, I want it to be just a place that hopefully grows and that real humans and real people who are longing and who are missing something in this really oversaturated technology, busy hustle of like no one pays attention to anything anymore. Nobody seems to care about anything anymore. It's just like like everybody's, as I always say, it's the most connected age with the most disconnected age. And it's just what's happened in the last few years. It just seems like less and less people are even there. It's just always all consumed by the phone, the technology. And like I said, I foresaw this happening. And that's why I spent the last 5-6 years building something outside of it. And that's what Voice of the People USA Radio is for. And that's why right now I'm very proud that this show is airing on my own platform that I built and that my partner Dan built. And we put our blood, sweat, and tears into this to make a place for real people who are also probably struggling to break through the noise, who feel alone, who feel disconnected, who feel like they're watching like the last of humanity just drizzle away. So that's what this is for. That's what this podcast is for. It's about taking off the masks. You know, my whole album, Comedy of Errors, it's about that. And it's about really being able to be free to be yourself, to be true, to be real, and not having to keep wearing these masks and, you know, having to play the game. And, you know, that's life, right? That's life. Whether it's politics, your job, it's just like you get overwhelmed. You can't just be yourself. And that's why, again, I wanted to do this. So here I am right now. And what I'm going to do is actually just play the Reconnection Movement, the video. Like I said, you're going to see an outfit change. And it's going to be in my other little set because I did pre-record this. But I talk a lot about it. I actually read the Reconnection Movement on the air. And it's available, like I said, for download. So I'm going to play that video. And there's a little commercials in there that I made that it'll tell you how to download the PDF on my website for free and stuff. So I'll play that, but then I'm not going anywhere. I'm coming back. So, and then if there's anyone in the chat room, we can discuss it and we can talk more about it. Like I said, I'm getting my feet wet and finding my way here. This is my first actually podcast on my own here that I've put a lot of work into. So I'm excited to do it. And I'm hoping that, you know, maybe there are people out there. I don't know if this is on Facebook. I think it is, or on YouTube. And that's it. So let's go into that. Now I'm manning the behind the scenes here. See, this is what I'm saying. It took me so long to learn how to do all this, but okay, so I'm going to play this video. Give me 1 second here. Okay, now I'm going to play it for you. Okay. And I will see you in a little bit. I hope everyone, wherever you are, maybe get a drink, get something to drink and enjoy. Okay. See you soon. Cheers. This is the first episode of Hollistics. I don't know if anyone's watching this, going to watch this, but if you're here or if you're not here, I guess it doesn't matter. But if you're here, cheers. Have a coffee, have a water, soda. If it's like later where you are, maybe you're having a beer or wine and winding after work. It's a crazy world. And this is a big step for me because I always wanted to do a podcast. And then I'm like, oh, should I just be talking about myself? This isn't just talking about me. It's just really like talk therapy. You know, sometimes you just need to talk. And sometimes it's just good to know there's someone out there listening, or maybe vice versa. Maybe you just want to listen to someone else talk about their problems, or it's not just about problems. So we are living in a very crazy, crazy time. And I wanted to do this podcast more as like a time capsule to look back at it one day, because there's something that I don't want to say it's bothering me, but it's like, it's hard not to think about it. And I don't know if a lot of people are thinking about it or they're not, but basically you keep seeing, well, I keep seeing all these videos of Elon Musk, and he keeps saying in 5 years, there's gonna be no jobs left. In 5 years, AI is taking over. Basically, this is all I want to talk about, the AI takeover, because people my age, we're living through it, and we're living through a shift, and the whole world is experiencing and watching something that's never happened before. There's different evolutions of humanity and things get better and there's inventions. And, back in the day before there were automobiles, there were horses, and there was, watch all the old movies, and things evolve, obviously, and new technologies and new inventions and all that. Even with music, I'm a musician and I watched it when I was younger. We had mixtapes and cassettes and records, radio, and then it went to CDs, and then it went to Napster, if you remember that, and Spotify, not Spotify, MySpace. And then, it just naturally evolves. Now, people don't really listen to CDs anymore. People don't even have CD players. I mean, some people probably still have them, but it just evolves. And that's just life, right? Because look, everyone's parents probably once at one point said, in my generation back in the day, milk was 5 cents and going to the movies was 10 cents or whatever. And then, now we're like, oh, remember back when candy bars were 50 cents and now they're like $3 for a candy bar? Okay, that's just life, right? Okay, back in the day. But now this is something we're living through that has never happened. I mean, maybe it's happened in other civilizations. I mean, if you're into that thing, if you heard of like Atlantis and Lemuria, and if you're into that stuff and you know about lost civilizations, there's a reason I'm bringing it up, is that we're talking now about altering humanity. Machines and robots are going to be taking over. I mean, they already are. And it was about 3 years ago. Well, let's go back a little bit further, a lot further actually. And I can't believe it's been almost 10 years, 11 years since I wrote it. It's called the Reconnection Movement. And it was a PDF. It was just like a download thing I wrote. You could download it. I wrote it, and this was about 10 years ago. And it feels like yesterday. But I remember being out, and I know where I was when I wrote it. I was in the Sunset Marquee in Los Angeles, in the lobby or whatever. And I remember just looking around then, remember 10 years ago, and just looking around and being like, I got everybody's on their phone. Cell phones were not a new thing. And I know everybody had phones, but even then I was looking, I'm like, I would go in and kind of just like look around, see, hi, to connect. And everyone's like heads down. And I remember thinking then, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is really gonna take over. So I wrote this whole thing, and it was like almost channeled out of me one night. I was staying at the Sunset Marquee Hotel, and I had, written lyrics and things like that. But I was never like a big writer. And this was before ChatGPT. I didn't use that for this. And I just like sat down and I was like, I gotta get this out. And I started typing, and it was all coming out. It was like, we're the last generation and we're the in between. And I remember thinking something is really happening. Now, obviously, then AI came, but this was before AI. This was 10 years ago. And then, like 3 years ago, I started seeing AI coming more and more, right? And Elon Musk, 10 years ago, I didn't even know who Elon Musk was. And then it was about 3 years ago, or maybe longer, like 2021, 2022, I guess 3 or 4 years ago, everyone was talking about AI. It was coming. It was like Elon Musk was talking about on Joe Rogan and this, and he kept saying, he's like, this is the biggest threat to humanity. AI it's going to become more dangerous. It's going to become smarter than humans. And I remember even then I was like against it. I was like, oh man, what is this going to mean for artists? What is it going to mean for music? I was like, I even had a shirt made. It was like, say no to AI, right? This is true. This was like 3 years ago. And again, prior to that, I guess 7 years prior to that, I had written the Reconnection Movement. My point is that now, from those 3 years ago, look at the speed. Boom. Like it's everywhere. And now I keep seeing these videos of Elon Musk. Like they're all on my feed. I don't know if everyone else is getting these. And they're just like, you're not going to have to work in a couple years. All the jobs are going to be gone. It's going to be different. It's going to be the income, this, that. And I'm thinking, wow, like it's coming to life what I said. And I'm sure other people predicted this too. This is not about me being like, hey, I told you. My point is saying, like, we're living in a very, very historical time. Like, I don't know if this has ever happened before. If you believe or if you read about other civilizations like Atlantis and Lemuria, Atlantis was one. I remember reading like their technology got so big and out of control that they like self-imploded. And it would just made me feel like, well, is that what's going to happen here? Like, are the robots going to take over? And why I think it's so important right now for people our age to talk about it and to be like, what's going on? We're going to be saying one day, remember when people were human? Like, that's coming, I feel. It's already here. We're merging with these machines, and like you're not even going to be able to know, is that a robot or is that real? Like we're already experiencing it, seeing it, right? Like with voiceovers and the pictures, was that really that person? No, that was AI. Was that? And they're making these things, and we're just like living through this crazy, strange world that we're literally now the last of humanity. I think the people my generation, older, a little bit younger, we are the last part of that split, because everybody now, every child born into this world is going to be born into this new paradigm. It's just all cell phones, it's all technology. They're just going to know it, and they're not going to know what it feels like to ever do those simple things without relying on phones for everything, without relying on technology, always being plugged into everything. And I think that's sad. But at the same time, they're never going to know. So they don't know what they're missing. I think that leaves us in a weird spot because we do know what we're missing. We do remember what it's like for those simple days, longing for like the simplicity of life a bit. And I think that's why I wanted to do this podcast. Everybody's welcome, obviously, to watch it. It would be great. I hope there are younger people who watch it. But I think it's for people who like kind of feel in that generation in between where we were just watching and like, wow, we're watching this really split and shift. Our parents, if you're my age, late 30s or early 40s, your parents are older, most of them. And they like, I know my mom in particular, she hates cell phones. Like I have an aunt who's even older, but she will do the cell phone and she does do text. So some people do it. My mom is just against it. She hates any kind of technology, and I get it. But then there's people like us and a little older. There's no choice. You have to be involved with it. So again, we're just in this weird world of like foot in the old. Our heart could be in the old, but you have to be in the new. You can't do anything without it. You need your banking. There's some places you can't pay for anything without if you don't have a debit thing on your phone or scan or this or that. And it's just like just living through it's weird. And like I said, I wanted to do this just really kind of as a time capsule because I'm telling you, looking back at the Reconnection Movement over 11 years ago, and then 3 years ago when I was like really seeing AI coming out faster with all the everything, the ChatGPTs. I didn't know what ChatGPT was until like 2 or 3 years, maybe 2 years ago. I've been using it now. I'm not going to lie. I used it a lot. I mean, it's good, but it's just like, wow. So you could see the dangers that are coming. And I think it's up to people, again, like us, who are worried about it and having the regulations for it because you can't stop it. It's not even a point like when I used to wear my t-shirt, say no to AI. No, you can't stop it. I mean, you can't beat it, join it. But they're even saying if you don't learn AI, if you're going to be, there's going to be no jobs left. You have to learn AI, but then robots are going to take over everything. And I don't know. I think it kind of leaves people my age and older like, what are we going to do? They did say though that on one of those videos, I keep getting them all. It's like some of the jobs is going to be a creative job and musicians are important. And I'm like, really? Because AI is taking over music too. I mean, you could write a song in like 2 minutes. You just put in the words and it comes out with this, whole song that would take me a lot of money to record in the studio, time to write. So that's a whole other story, and the music and the AI. So I would love to talk more about that, but I'll just stick to the basics. But I could go down that road because I'm a musician and I actually do see some benefits of it. And I see a lot of drawbacks and a lot of, it's going to take the soul out of music. It already has. There's so much you don't even know like what's real and what's not. I think you do know what's not real. You could probably feel it and hear it. But I think there's going to be a need and a resurgence for some humans. Now, that's only going to be a need for it, I think, if people make it important and a priority, people our age, to remind others what being human is. Not even joking. I think it's going to be somewhere like this is what making videos, tutorials, like this is what it is to be human. Like these are empathy, these are emotions. This is something AI can't teach. This isn't something AI doesn't do, to younger kids coming up because there's so many social problems and issues of kids not being able to connect. Like not even just kids. Like we just rely on it so much. You could just go out and you don't have to look at each other anymore. You don't have to learn social skills or empathy. It's just like and it's dangerous. You're taking out the soul and the human connection, the emotion and interaction, and it makes people lonely. Going back to the Reconnection Movement, that's what it was. It was saying we're saying we're in the most connected age ever, but it's also very disconnected. And I think a lot of people are lonely, and the rates of, I don't know, I don't have the statistics in front of me, so I don't want to misquote, but suicide and stuff is people are really lonely, even though they're just a button and a click away, because with so many computers and everything just right at your disposal, it's just like you forget the human behind it, dehumanizing, becoming dehuman. We don't care about each other as much. The empathy is missing. And again, not everybody, but the majority of people who still have those feelings are the older people who know what they are, those feelings. They grew up with them. Again, we can't blame generations of kids coming into it. They don't know any better. They didn't learn any different. They literally have to be part of it because you can't survive if you're not in it. So I just wonder, like, the speed of AI. And when he's starting to say in 3 or 4 years, you better make your money now. There's going to be no need for you. There's going to be no need for jobs. And I believe it because it's going fast. Like 3 years ago to now, it's moving at the speed of lightning. And now it's even going faster. So in a couple of years, he might be right. And these guys know what's up. They run the world. So I think they have a pretty good idea. So I think that's one that I want to say it's heavy on my mind, but it dictates a lot of your future plans. I remember he even said something like, no, you don't even need a retirement account and this and that, and people working their whole lives for money. It's not going to need. I'm just like, anyway, we're the last of the humans here. And I think it's important to remind people what it is to be human, what it really is. And that's what this show is about, because I like to look into the deeper questions of what is life? What is consciousness? Like, what are we doing here? What is our purpose? Are we just here to accumulate stuff and just do? Are we supposed to be evolving into higher beings and higher things? And everybody has a different life experience. Everyone has a different perspective. Everyone's experience have shaped their perspectives, which everyone has that right to have. We all come down here and we're all living our own life. We're our own main character in our life. And it's just crazy. I hate politics. I hate organized religion. I hate people fighting about that. Like, it's just, can you just realize we're all human? And that's why I brought this up. Like, to think, it makes me sad to think it could be the end of humanity, that we're going to lose. And we're only going to lose it if people our age and this generation don't fight a little bit and say, wait a minute, there's no stopping AI, but we gotta hold our ground and have some morals and have some like regulations, and remember that no, humans are first, AI is second. But I'm worried about it because he's saying AI is going to take over. A lot of people are saying it, but it's up to us to say we gotta remember that human element and be it and live it. It's easy to just give in, I guess, and just go with the flow. But I think it's very important for people to, this time right now, because in 5 years, it could be a very, very different place if he's right. And we're going to look back and be like, wow, what happened to the humans? Where are they all? Again, because we're the last of the generation. Once we die off, there's no one more left who really remembers the good old days and doesn't remember. And I think that's sad. Look at my light just went, it's just like a ghost in here. Maybe they agree. It just went really bright. The problem is if it goes really bright, you can't read what it says. It says Hollistics. There you go. To go like dim. I bought this dimmer separately. Oh, there we go. Now you can see it. I don't know. Okay. It's back. I don't know. I just think we have a duty, even with art and music and creation. Yeah, there's going to be no need for it, right? But there is, because even on the list of jobs, it said there still needs to be original ideas and people to actually create and put the things into the AI for them to do it. But art and music and learning skills that we used to have to learn, like, even as a musician, you had to kind of know how to sing or play your instrument, and now you don't have to know anything. So you're not really a musician, I guess. But those are the things that are going to become obsolete unless there's people like us who preserve it. And if you have, I don't have children myself, but if you have kids, you teach your kids these things too. Like, yes, you have to live in the world and there's AI and there's robots, but this is what a human is. And this is, learn to right. I don't even think kids don't have to do cursive anymore or learn how to do these things. Or I don't even know if kids learn like penmanship and all that anymore. Do you have to? You just type. Again, is that a bad thing? Or is that just like the evolution, the way of the world? Just type, type, type. And that, I don't know. But that's different. That's what we learned. But like back in the day, they learned to type on a typewriter. My mom and dad probably, we didn't, I think we had typing class, but you know what I mean? So those things are like, okay, this is just a different way we do it now. We don't use that anymore. But being human, that's something. And when we say human, human is emotion, human is heart, human is soul, human is independent, is brains, thinking. And that's a scary thing. The supercomputer, it's smarter than any human. Sure, could do a math problem in like half a second or less than that, like 0.1, whatever. Speed of light, it could do anything, right? You put something into ChatGPT, it's like, boom, it's like, whoa, that's crazy. What it would take us long, long time to do. That's why sometimes I'm grateful for it. I think there's some good things about it, but when you think about it, the one thing it can't do is it doesn't have real emotion, doesn't have like heart, it doesn't cry, doesn't have soul, And those are the things that the humans have. So if we don't, I don't know. I'm just kind of talking a lot. Like I said, I'm just doing this for myself, really. And if there's anyone else who's worried about it, feel free to leave a comment or send me a message or we could talk about it. I don't know. I just think it's a very crazy, interesting time to be alive. Interesting is maybe not the right word, but we're living through the biggest shift of humanity like ever, because it could be the possibility of no more humans. So it's kind of a big deal. So those are the things that go through my head. And cheers. I think it's time for a coffee break. Oh, so yeah. So what I wanted to do, I talked about the Reconnection Movement. So like a couple of years ago, I did look at it and I read it. I don't really remember everything, but I read it and was like, wow. And that was just a couple of years ago. And I made it into a PDF. I put a new like cover on it. And I thought maybe I could read it right now on the camera, on air. I mean, you could read it yourself. And I want to look back to what I said, because I haven't read it in so long. And now like applying where we are right now today to that, which was written in, I don't know, 2015 or something. So I'm going to get that out. You could read along or you could go and download it afterwards. But I just kind of want to read it to see where we are. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to read it. But if you want to go and if you want to get the copy of it for free, you can. You just go to hollismahady.com. I'll put it down on the bottom. Go there. And then go on the side. If you're on your phone or on your website, just go to podcasts. Okay, and then just scroll to the bottom. And you could put your email in and it'll pop right up. It's the whole thing I wrote. And this was my friend Chris. I loved him. I love him. He was a great supporter and friend in the UK. And he helped me do this like logo a long time ago. And yeah, so I'm going to read it and see how it applies today. Okay, and you could read along or you could just read it later or just listen. I used to do audiobooks and stuff like that, so I like to read. So here we go, the Reconnection Movement. And this says, what did I say? Okay, I said, I wrote this in 2015 and I have purposely left it unaltered. Resurfacing now with even greater urgency, the need for such a movement is more critical than ever before. As AI continues to advance, the threat it poses to humanity and the world has become increasingly evident. The call to action made by the Reconnection Movement remains as relevant as it was in 2015, offering a beacon of hope for safeguarding the future of humanity amidst the dangers posed by AI. So, like we said, it's just something you can't ignore. So I don't know if it's all bad. As I said, I don't think it's all bad. I think it does some amazing things. I'm not going to lie. I won't talk about the music part. We could save that for another conversation, but I think there's some good to it. But I also think it could be very dangerous if it's not regulated. And even Elon Musk said that. He's scared it's like going to be out of control. And if it falls into the wrong hands, which let's face it, who knows who's really controlling it? What could happen? So the reconnection. Okay, so it's very obvious we live in a world of technology these days. 2015, the computer age. As I write this, I'm observing my surroundings, and 5 out of 5 people in the hotel lobby I sit in are busy on their phones or smartphones. And as an experiment, I look around with a smile to see if I can connect with anyone. Nothing. This is sadly not an unfamiliar situation this day and age. How many times have we been out to lunch or to dinner when there is a lull in conversation and someone whips out their iPhone, or better yet, even puts it down long enough to begin with in order to have a real conversation? I remember getting AOL dial up when I was about 14 years old. Up until that point, I don't really even know exactly what a computer was. Didn't know. Well, besides playing the Oregon Trail on a really old computer in the 4th grade. You know what? I'm glad that I had those 14 or so years free from technology. My developmental years were filled with toys from the outdoors like kickballs, dodgeballs, swing sets, and swimming pools. I played the piano on an actual piano as opposed to playing it on an app, and I didn't learn to play the guitar from playing Guitar Hero. I remember my mom telling me stories of her own childhood, and which all revolved around nature, living on a farm, trips to the lake, and playing cards and listening to records. What I was saying, right? Now, I watch my friend's baby as she plays on the iPad, and her new toy is the iPhone 6. She's totally immersed in what's happening on the screen and oblivious to anything else going on in the world around her. Computers and phones have taken many people's, not only babies' attentions away from what's happening in the world around them. Physical records and CDs are gradually becoming extinct due to the evolving and changing formats of the music in the 21st century. Everything is now virtual. The demise of bookstores is happening as everyone now downloads books onto their Nooks and other devices. Video stores have closed. Remember video stores? Video stores have closed due to internet streaming on sites such as Netflix and Hulu. The thrill of getting a new CD, admiring the artwork, carefully reading the lyrics, and listening to the whole thing from start to finish rarely happens for most people anymore, thanks to the popularity of iTunes singles and other instantaneous, gratifying music download sites. Right? So true. Reading this on the phone sucks. Let me turn it like this. Okay, this is better, I think. The few of these stores and shops that do remain open to this day seem to have a bleak future. So what's the result of all this? No more bookstores, music stores, video shops, etc. equals less and less human interaction. Human interaction. Well, now that everything's just so quick and convenient, do we even need human interaction? Just as the bookshops, music stores, and the video stores are becoming outdated mode of life in the current world we live, is the art of human interaction and meaningful human connection becoming obsolete as well. Everything and anything is now available at the click of a mouse. You can now order your groceries straight to your door, or even have a mail-order bride delivered to your doorstep. I don't know if that was before. That was for a long time, I think, going on. There is no longer a real need for a middleman to be part of the process, officially eliminating the need for human interaction. Everything, even people, are now at each other's disposal. If you don't like what you see, why get to know someone? Just keep on clicking until you find the next best thing that you think you're looking for. Well, the times, they are certainly a-changing, or have changed immensely, but for better or worse. Before I go on to talk about how I personally feel, and yes, this is just my personal opinion, and you're welcome to read it and agree or disagree, and that's the beauty of free thought, about living, accepting the changes and challenges, and trying to survive in this virtual age, I want to say that I'm not some totally anti-technology, like some of our parents, hippy-dippy person who believes we should all throw out our cell phones and computers and go back to living in the age where telephones were made out of cans and strings and letters delivered by a horse. No, I admit there are many advantages and conveniences of all this newfound technology. With the natural progression of evolution and man's advancements, adapting to new ideas and lifestyles is inevitable and unescapable. I'm amazed and grateful to a certain degree by these advancements and the amount of information available this day and age. There's an incredible amount of information available on such a diverse array of topics on the internet. You can connect and chat with people you may never have met anywhere else other than this information superhighway. Dating websites have actually allowed people a way to connect and form legitimate non-virtual relationships outside the computer. I have to say I love my iPhone and camera as much as the next person, and being a musician, I recognize all the advantages of being able to create and sell my own music and merch online. Artists are able to independently exhibit their work online without the tight grip of a record label's control and gain exposure that was once never possible. Friends and families are able to keep in close contact while living states or even countries apart. And while those social networks like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, X, I should say now, and the rest of the bunch may have in many ways reconnected people, like that old high school mate you haven't seen in 20 years or your long lost pen pal from France that used to write to 15 years ago in French class, I have to say I feel it has also brought about what is intended to prevent a disconnection. Yes, the age that claims to be the most connected age ever, I believe is actually quite the opposite. Sure, we are allowed now We are all now quite capable of sitting at our computer screens and phones all day and are able to quickly download the latest iPhone app or iPad upgrade. But can you honestly ever think back to the last time you had dinner or drinks with friends where there was no phones or electronic devices present? Can you think back to an outing when people were engaging in mind, body, or soul interaction for more than 5 minutes without getting interrupted by a cell phone or some other distraction? Leads me to ask, what's up with our attention spans? Have humans really become so boring that they can't hold the attention spans of another for a mere 5 minutes? Have our virtual relationships with computers taken precedence over our relationships with the real thing? Is it more important to give the latest Facebook update, post a tweet, or upload a picture on Instagram about what you're doing instead of actually living and being present in that moment? Is it really necessary to have your cell phone camera filming a concert the whole time? I've always wondered, does anyone actually go back and watch the footage they were so busy filming on their phones at the concerts? Or have your phone in the sauna at the gym? Is anyone else asking themselves what the beep is happening to this world? What is this meaningless, pointless bull beep all about? I haven't read this in a long time. We're surrounded by machines, but does that mean now that we are becoming machines too? I find myself looking around, ready to smile at people walking by, hoping to catch some eye contact, a glimmer of someone awake and alive in the moment. How are you? More often than not, I'm disappointed by the lack of human connection I encounter on a daily basis. Most people's eyes are glued downward to their phones or whatever electronic device they're holding on to, making the probability of chance, random encounter, or connection slim to none. After voicing my concerns to a few people I know, I found that many people actually seem to be coming to the same conclusion and may be wondering what the future holds for this seemingly transforming robot generation. Cheers. Since I'm an artist and musician, I have heard the theory that artists are just overly sensitive, the tortured soul, and I agree with that to some extent. Although lately, more and more people I've spoken to about the subject, not just artists, seem to agree with this. There's a common thread of loneliness and separation that is running between many people my age, and I have to wonder if it's because we all grew up to a certain age where we had a real human connection to other people. A time when friends really talked to each other and people got together for the sake of it without constantly rushing to the next thing. A time when kids could be kids and do things without being worried about some internet bully sneaking a picture to later use as blackmail on the internet. That time before cell phones, when we were forced to talk to the person in front of us rather than the person on the other end of the text message, and hone our social skills during outings rather than use our technological devices as a social crutch. So where does this leave my generation? Are we the generation that's stuck in between? And then I have like little pictures there. I added some pictures there. That's a picture of a robot. We are the last of the people to grow up in a world before technology seemed to take over the world. Most of my developmental years involved real human interaction where computers or phones were not my babysitters and did not play a part in shaping who I've become. I've had that feeling and knowing of what it was like to grow up and live in a world before this. I was lucky enough to grow up being close to nature and had real human interactions. The problem with us people who are stuck in between is that unlike the generations being born into this knowing no other way, we remember what it was really like to be connected to other humans and not just virtually connected. Now it has left our hearts and souls remembering and therefore yearning for this feeling of how it once used to be. I spent my whole life on a quest to find purpose and meaning in life, to find love and that feeling of wholeness. The more and more I tried, the lonelier it seemed to get. The seeds were planted for writing this movement a few years ago when I was looking outside myself and getting angry at everyone else for being so disconnected. Of course, back then I blamed computers and phones for all my misery, but I eventually realized that though it would be awesome to meet some people I connected with, who I really needed to meet and connect with again was myself. It wasn't really other people that would fill me up or who I needed to be connected with so badly. It was myself that I needed to be reconnected with. I don't think it is any of our faults for the disconnection epidemic going on in the fast-paced world today. We have been conditioned by a materialistic society that distracts us from the real beauty and purpose in life and puts the majority of focus and energy on earning money, over-consuming, and the belief that everything we need to make us happy is outside of us. A new boyfriend or girlfriend, a great job, status, the perfect body, money, power, or a career are the things that will fill that empty, nagging, tugging void inside of us. These are all the fixes that will satisfy the ego temporarily until they vanish and the nagging, tugging feeling of emptiness returns once again. Of course, what I'm saying is not a new revelation, and the same themes and magical solutions to life's big questions run throughout almost all of the hundreds of self help improvement books on the market. The problem I have found with these books is that once I've read them, having taken it all in and have consciously made an effort to apply it, suggestions to my own life, I eventually always slip back to the old conditioned patterns ingrained in my consciousness and supported by the majority of society. I look around at everyone else and wonder if anyone else has actually read these books too, or try to apply them to their lives with only short lived success like myself. The saying always popped in my head, if you can't beat 'em, join 'em. Though at times it seemed like an easier solution to the problem at hand, it was still really never an option for me. I've always stood firmly on the outskirts of society and refused to join the masses of zombie like robots inhabiting Earth, opting to take a stand and continue on the quest for my own individual truth and self empowerment rather than following blindly and fearfully behind others' opinions, like lambs being led to slaughter. See, I was a rebel. This is before ChatGPT. I wrote this in 2015. That's what I'm saying. It like almost channeled out of me. This is pretty good. And I just wrote this. Okay, so back to this. The Reconnection Movement is about seeking out those in the minority and building a team of support to help each other with the challenges we face when we choose to follow the path of our hearts and dreams and take back our individual power that has been robbed from us. There is power by numbers. Should probably say in numbers, and only by joining together those people with the same goals who seek truth and are willing to fight for a better world and more balanced allotment of power will we become pioneers of the Reconnection Movement, and a new earth will begin to blossom. Once you dive into the rabbit hole and awaken, as some people put it, you do begin to go further and further down the hole and start to unveil a lot of information about the small percent of powers that be who are ruling society and trying hard to keep it hidden from the public eye. Conspiracy. Some people call it conspiracy, I call it the truth. And if you begin to look at the facts, they are there to prove it. I have to give them credit for doing a damn good job of keeping the majority of people ignorant of their true potential, which keeps us stuck in the belief that we aren't good enough or we don't deserve a life better than merely surviving and getting by. We were meant to thrive in this world, not just survive. The good life was not selected for the privileged few, although it may seem that way. I began to ask myself many years ago questions like, why do so few have so much? And so many have such little? Why aren't more people following the money and seeing what is really going on? I sincerely feel that we were not put on the earth to suffer. Although some life lessons that we go through in order to accelerate our spiritual growth as a human may be painful, ultimately we were meant to enjoy the physical experience of being a living spiritual being and enjoy the abundance the world has to offer. We have been fooled and manipulated to believe that there is not enough. We have been led to believe that there's a lack of abundance and scarcity in the world. This is not true. There just happens to be a large imbalance of power going on and unequally distributed allotment of resources. I made the decision to fight for the people who have nothing and dedicate my life as an artist and activist to connect people and let them know that they are not alone, because most of my time on this planet thus far, I have felt terribly alone and wish someone had been there for me with some explanations of why we feel this way. We have tremendous power as human individuals once we connect back to our true divinity and source and raise our energetic frequency. Once we do this, there will be a major power shift in the world that the people in control do not want to happen. Aside from the computers and gadgets distracting us from the real issues going on in our planet today and disconnecting us from ourselves, other factors like fear tactics, environmental conditions, pharmaceuticals, mind control, radiation from electronic devices, and drugs and alcohol keep us in a lower vibrational state like fear and depression. Foods and fluoride toxic water consumption are major players in disconnecting us from our divine source. Our pineal gland, if you guys heard of that, aka our third eye, you can look it up if you're not familiar with the term, becomes calcified through fluoride found in our drinking water and chemicals and toxins found in the processed foods, both of which modern day society has made almost impossible to avoid. The pineal gland in most people is barely activated due to these environmental conditions and food consumption. When the pineal gland is healthy and awakened, it has been said it is a direct link to higher consciousness states, where humans can naturally experience more divine love and live in less fear. When the opposite occurs and our pineal glands become calcified, as most people's are, they experience lower energetic states and frequencies, including fear, anxiety, depression, and ultimately the illusion of disconnection. They stay tuned into the third dimensional reality that focuses on only seeing exactly what's in front of them. They then form addictions to things like drugs and alcohol and prescription pills to numb the pain they face on a daily basis, becoming one of the many people that strengthens the machine in the never-ending cycle of falsely diagnosed patients with depression or one of the many other names we have given to our man-made diseases. We pay everyone else to fix our problems without realizing that in most cases we have the ability and always have had the power inside to heal ourselves. I find it a bit alarming that the majority of people I talk to don't even know what the pineal, some people say pineal gland, or its function is, considering there are many opinions that it's the biggest proven link to our spirit thus far. At the same time, I realize it may not be the fault of our own that we are not aware of this information. Many great legendary teachers in the world have reached such elevated states of consciousness. A lot of their followers perhaps seem to forget that these teachers came to earth to teach us and remind us who we are, and that we ourselves are very powerful, and we have our own tools already inside of us, which make us capable of creating and living a joyous, fulfilling life, and not one full of misery. What if you were told people were deliberately doing this to you, keeping you disconnected on purpose and pulling the wool over your eyes and keeping you stuck in miserable situations without the thought of a way out or a better existence? To think someone else in a way is playing God. Would you be pissed off? I know I was. This is what started me on my journey and opened my eyes. Soon after I eventually woke up and stopped eating the BS, literally. Sometimes we have to go to the darkest places where we can't continue the way we have been anymore for a change to occur. This is when people wake up and realize they are co-creators of their own existence. Some people won't, and that's their choice. This movement and network is for the people who do and who are awake and conscious, or at least want to be. Those who feel something stirring deep inside them when reading this means somewhere deep down in their soul connects and recognizes some of this information on some level. It's for those who are curious and open-minded. There have been many dreamers throughout history have spoken of a utopian world. Is it just a hopeless, intangible dream, or can it ever really happen on Earth? If most people are disconnected from their own divine source, how can we possibly expect to be connected to others? The answer is we can't. It's not until there's a large movement or enough people who start to say, wake up and start living a new way of life that transcends the way we currently have been conditioned to live, that a change can really occur. As I said before, there are power in numbers. We first stop supporting the old way of doing things. We have to put the power back in our own hands. When the power shift and the new way of living is more peaceful, fulfilling, heart-oriented way begins to grow, corporations and companies who control us will collapse. It's not just a utopian dream, as it's possible, but we have to start somewhere and someone has to take a stand. It's not something that will happen overnight, and I'm not telling anyone to go out and immediately quit their jobs, but I'm asking people to at least become aware. The majority rules, and right now the majority of power lies in the money-hungry, greedy monsters of the world. A lot of people don't seem to give a shit about the state of our world, but many people do. Those are the people who need to band together and make a movement. Until then, the suffering will continue. Is it really a wonder why there's so much suffering in the world? Why does it seem we're hearing more and more about heinous bombings and school shootings more and more? I believe it's because we're becoming majorly disconnected and dehumanized. The disconnection between people is so bad that no longer do people look at each other as equals, soulmates who are sharing the same living body, the energetic source field where all energy on earth comes from. The fact is, though, that we are equal. We're all equal. We're all free spirits and not meant to be servants to each other, but servants to a higher good. We're all here, hopefully, searching for a purpose, for love. We're all sharing this human experience. It's a beautiful thing to look that we are all here sharing this amazing mystery. Yet at the same time, everyone seems to be so distracted and complete strangers, and okay with that. I'm making this movement, the Reconnection Movement, to bring people back together. People who are lonely, people who are taking a chance and following their soul's calling and following the path less traveled. For the people who believe in themselves but may not have anyone else who does. For the people who are scared to admit they are lonely, confused, or depressed and want support. For the people who are scared and embarrassed to admit just how screwed up they really feel. For the people who feel like they don't even have a chance for a better or more meaningful life. For the people who really never fit in. For the loners and the outcasts. The people who are single and alone. People who are married but still missing something. People who need support, positivity, encouragement, and empowerment in their lives. For the victims who are experiencing ego-controlling love rather than the right kind of friendship and love we all yearn for. Those who are sick of the naysayers and negative attitudes they often encounter. Those who are looking for greater fulfillment beyond the material world. People who feel as lost as I do a lot of the time and are looking for real human connection. We are all here on earth to fulfill our life and soul's purpose, not to suffer, not to make money, to buy crap and die and rot away. We're here to learn, to grow, and to evolve. We're here for love. And love doesn't have to be about sex or physical love. It's about recognizing a soul and having love for that. Hence the term soulmate. We're all soulmates. Of course, some people have stronger connections with some than others, but in the end, we are all brothers and sisters, like it or not. And we're all here not really knowing I cursed in this, what the fuck to do. Beep. And trying to make the best out of it. We are here and have been fooled into believing that real love is about sex and happiness is about material wealth and power. Humans are made of love, although a lot of us have seemed to have forgotten this simple concept. There's a serious case of amnesia going around. Amnesia is a song on my album. That took a long time. This has taken a long time to do the album too. It's crazy looking back at this. There's a serious case of amnesia going around. It's time to wake up, and that is what the Reconnection Movement is all about. Have you ever wondered why people constantly refer back to that time of hippie movement in the 1960s and 70s? The peace, love, and harmony time? It was a time when musicians sang about their brothers and sisters. They were fighting in Vietnam. They protested their voices so their friends didn't have to be drafted away. They were sacrificing their own safety for others. America has recently been in war for over 10 years, and there were troops dying every day to protect our safety. Yet I don't remember hearing many, if any, songs on the radio addressing what's happening in the world. The hippie era was a time of free love, sisterhood, and brotherhood, a time when people were really connected enough to stand up for one another, to stand up for what they believed in, a time when people had something to believe in. Why are artists like John Lennon and Bob Marley to this day so revered as artists and men who changed the world through their music? They spoke about love and peace, something many people deep down connect with because they remember somewhere in their amnesic, infected brains that love and peace is why we're here. They had something to say in their lyrics and used their voice to touch people. Many people refer back to that magical time in history because there's not been anything since that has even come close to the caliber of impact that hippie movement and music of that era had. We've taken a major change in direction since, and while I've acknowledged there are clearly some advantages and benefits to this technology, I firmly believe that we're becoming less and less reliant on our own minds and more reliant on machines. Remember, this is 11 years ago. I did not write this with ChatGPT. This was just channeled through me. Computers have been taking over the whole world, not to mention most of the music industry. We are turning into computers, and not a lot of people seem to notice or even care. And we can't blame the kids because they were born into a world where this is all they know. We can only blame ourselves if we continue to support the current state of the world. I'm stuck in between. I feel like it's up to me and other people left in this lost generation who still have this unbridled passion burning inside. I want to gather like-minded artists and creatives who want to come together and make a stand, a movement, and make music, art, and writings that really address some of the major issues going on today. Those who do recognize what the heck is going on, and they see the danger we are in if people don't start to wake up. Danger for future generations to come and for our planet, our Mother Earth, who lends us her home as we visit, yet we're ignorant and destroying her. I'm looking for the indigo and rainbow children and adults and the last people of our generation who grew up without computers or machines. Those who remember what it feels like to really connect with people. We are the hope for a new future. We are here to bring awareness. As the planet evolves, major technological advancements are part of that. And when used in moderation, these machines can provide wonderful advantages that make living life in some ways more convenient and pleasant. The machines themselves aren't technically the problem. It's the overconsumption, misuse of their power, and reliance of these machines that is the danger. The artificial intelligence that's replacing our own individual intelligence and ability to form our own opinions and beliefs is no longer a far-fetched story plot in a science fiction movie. It's alarmingly becoming our Earth's reality. I cursed again. I use a beep out word, but I'm not a beep computer. But I'm watching in horror as I see people turn into robots. I also had the song Robots and Aliens on my Love Zombies album. The real people present in the moment are starting to drizzle away, and meetings with those kinds are becoming few and far between. I've seen enough vacant looks in people's eyes. What the hell is going to happen to our babies, our younger generation who are born into this and know nothing else? It's up to us to help mold the future. Knowledge Knowledge is power. Seeking wisdom and truth over money and control is a battle worth fighting. Why are we handing over our power to machines and letting a small group of greedy, money-hungry elitists run the world? Can we stop it before it's too late? Ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance is the end of this world as we know it. It's the end of real artists, musicians, peacemakers, and free thinkers. Music is power and the soundtrack to our lives. Our children deserve a soundtrack that is real, meaningful, and empowering, rather than one filled with redundant, recycled American Idol winners and empty, shallow, auto-tuned, plastic pop stars. Wow. I haven't read this in so long. I keep saying the same thing over 10 years ago. Okay, I'm going to finish it, and then I'm going to say where I am today. If we don't wake up, it's almost done. If we don't wake up and put a fight to stop it, we will only have ourselves to blame when in years to come, when we're all gone, there is no one left but robotic, mind-controlled people being controlled by the few. It's not fair to our children. Do it for them. They have the right to a connected and meaningful life like we had. This is one of the most important and crucial times in the history of our world, and the most important time for the real artists that are left to band together and make a movement. It's time to put down the freaking iPhone and computer for a minute, people. Put your heads up and reconnect. It's time for a new movement, the Reconnection Movement. Wow. Oh my gosh. See, there's a reason why I wanted to read that on camera. I'm not kidding. I didn't read that. I think I glimpsed at it, obviously, a couple years ago. It was right around, I don't remember, like three years ago, when I was seeing the rise of AI even faster. I was like, oh my gosh, I have to put the Reconnection Movement out. Like, I wanted to do a movement of people our age, my age, older, people who understand what is at stake here, right? Like, the future of humanity. I'm telling you, real artists, real musicians, people who are creating like with their mind, they still are not just going all to AI. Like I said, I even use AI. There are some cool things about it. I'm not going to lie. Like it is what it is. But that was 10 years ago. And for the last freaking 10 years, it took me that long to record my album. And I do have a song on it called Amnesia. It's crazy. And literally on Thursday, I'm going to do my photo shoot for this album that's taken me a lifetime to write. And I'm going to have a podcast about it. And it's called A Comedy of Errors, my album. Amnesia is one of the songs on it. And I wanted to put it out for so long. I'm having these revelations in real time. It's crazy. Like I knew it in my soul then. I saw it. I mean, other people, I was like, this was even before, I didn't know what ChatGPT was. I don't even know who Elon Musk was. And 3 years ago, I saw then about the robots and how fast it was moving. And I was like, oh, we got to talk about the Reconnection Movement. We got to get people together. And that's why we built this platform. It's for free thinkers and the last of humanity, the last hope, like knowing there's content out there that's not all AI. Listen, I'm not going to lie. We use tools, clip up clips. Like, you have to use AI automation to do tasks because otherwise you can't compete and you can't do everything you need to do. But original ideas, original thought, original thinking, programming on the TV, like not programming, original programming, like thinking of funny things for TV shows and for, again, music and art and podcast ideas and things that engage and connect people, the last of the humans. Again, there's going to be two types where people don't even know what they're yearning for because they've never experienced it in younger people. And then there might be some that obviously there must be a lot because they're depressed over social media. There's, suicides and kids who are very lonely because that's not how we're meant to be. We're meant to have human connection, heart, love, touch, emotions, So it's kind of crazy. Again, that's why I wanted the first episode to talk about this. Because it's the basis of everything I've done, everything I've dedicated my life to. Most of my friends out there, people I've known, they all have kids, they all have families. I went down a different path and it never happened to me. I didn't meet the right person. I had lots of crazy relationships and toxic relationships and all this stuff. And it's live and learn. Sometimes I feel I missed out. And then there's other times I just feel, well, I was on a different path than other people. And I don't judge, and hopefully they don't judge me, but it's hard sometimes to feel like you're not being judged. Like, oh, you didn't do this. I was never really the typical 9 to 5 job, have the kids, like that's fine. And a lot of people do that. And Trust me, it's an easier path. You're really lucky. But unfortunately, I went down a different path. I saw things that I probably most people didn't see. I've experienced a lot of stuff. I saw some really dark things. I saw corruption. I saw bad things. I experienced good things too, but it was never your typical life. I've moved like a million times. But through all of it, all of it, I never lost the love for music. I never lost the love of soul, of hope, dreaming, of seeing a better world that's not out there. That's why my imagination was always going. Even my album, it's called A Comedy of Errors. It has characters and magic. It's it helped my way of thinking, just helped me navigate through the world, the weird path I was on. Characters in my comedy of errors, everything. If you look at life like that, it's like learning, why are we really here? Life is hard. It can be really hard. This 3D realm of connections and people and disappointments and hurts and money and control and this and that. It's so much. The way I got through it was trying to look at things differently. Why is these things happening? Why did that happen? Why am I here to grow? With the soul grow? I have a bookshelf full of a lot of great books that I've read. And again, this may not be everyone's cup of tea, and that's fine. You don't have to watch it, tune out if you're not. If you're into this stuff, that's great. I went down so many different paths, and I was always searching and yearning for something more. I just was always kind of bored with, just the outside. This is what you do. This is where you're working. You get this, you get these physical. It just bored me. It was well, why? Who's on the top? What's going on? What is this? Always connected, seeing what else is out there. I've always been fascinated with afterlife and psychics and things like that, but I also love God too. I mean, you could be both. I didn't know. And then I had all these different experiences. I remember in London with the Hare Krishnas, and then I moved to Maine and it was all Christian, and I learned from everybody. And that's why I say I don't like organized religion. That's where I don't really want to talk about religion. I hate when people fight about religion because it's so not the point. God is love. Whatever this is, something is bigger. And we know what love is. We do. Because we yearn for it. People go through the whole life. I need to meet that perfect soulmate. I need to meet my other half. I need to meet someone who fulfills me. But that's not really what will ever really fulfill us. It's a connection with something higher, with love, with God, with self. It's hard. This world is hard. The Reconnection Movement was what I talked about. There's stuff deliberately done to disconnect us. And with the invention of the phones and everything in the last 15, 20 years, how everything's just completely disconnecting us all the time. Can't even think. Oh, don't think, and that's what they keep us. They keep us distracted and stuck in this cycle. Just worry about bills. A lot of people, not everybody, but a lot of people are struggling. You can't even think about the deep meaning and the questions of life. You have to pay the bills. You have to feed your kids. You have to go to 10 jobs to pay for who has time for that? So again, it's a blessing or curse. My freaking, what's it called? Sentence was, I didn't have kids and I have more time to think about all this stuff, which is that good or bad? I don't know. They say you're not crazy. You're just waking up. It's one of my favorite spiritual teachers. I love him. His name is Michael Miradad. I said, I'm going to talk a lot about him in this podcast because he really inspired a lot of my work. One of my songs on the album, Edenshire. I have some of his book. Hold on, let me see. Some of my books on here, Conversations with God, Destiny of Souls. It's upsetting. I can't find the book. If you're into this kind of stuff and you want another perspective, watch Michael Miradad. He's at the Sedona Center for Christ Consciousness, and he's not it's not a church religion. It's just he just talks about the questions of life, and he's great. I love him. And anyway, and I was over there on my bookshelf, and I remember this book as well. It was called Women Who Run with the Wolves, and that also inspired a lot of my music. It's really good. So we could talk about that stuff, but anyway, I've been recording for a while, and yeah, I just think I'd have to do my part, being human, make a contribution to the world somehow. Maybe no one will care in 100 years. No, this will be irrelevant. Humans will not even be here anymore because that's where we're going. Not even 100 years, go 10 years, 5 years, the way it's going. So that's what the last few years, reading the Reconnection Movement again. It inspires me, honestly. And I hope other people are out there who realize how important it is for us to maintain our humanity. And how are we going to navigate that? Because there are people like us, our age, we're the last ones left, guys. As he said, you can't blame the younger generations. They're not going to know. They're not even going to know what it feels like. They're not going to know real human love if the generations go on and their parents didn't know it. And it's just going to be over. That's why I'm like, leave artifacts, leave fossils, leave videos, leave time capsules. Remember the time when we were still human? There were some left. It's going to be us. We're the last of it. And we have a duty, I feel, to care about AI and do something about it. Again, you can't stop it. I've said that like 100 times, but we can't stop it. But we're going to leave it in the hands of who knows, the elite in the top, whoever is controlling it all and making it happen to regulate it. Who's to say that robots don't just burst in your door and I don't know what they're capable of doing. These are things that could really happen. And, before it's too late, I think it's just important to talk about it. So maybe I'll name this episode like the Reconnection Movement or AI or something about that. But again, I know I read the whole thing, maybe you zoned out, maybe you didn't see it, but you're more than welcome to go on my website, www. Do I have to say that anymore? www. It's Hollis Mahady, my name, .com. And go to podcast and scroll down and you can get it for free. Just put in your email and you could read the whole thing if you wanted to read it again or share it with someone. But if you're like me and you remember what it used to be like and you long for that, that's also why we made the Voice of the People TV and radio platform. It's a home for my art, for my music. It's home for other people like us who want to make a community and come together and create and put out really mission-aligned, meaningful content. There's so much content out there. It's so hard. You're competing with everything, but we're not trying to compete. It's actually like a safe haven, because when shit really hits the fan, which it seems like it already is, but in a couple of years when there's really no humans or it's just everyone's AI, and there's going to be people us like, what are we going to do? It's a safe haven. We're there for each other. We're community. We're going through this together. It's really about going through it together. And I know there must be other people out there who would question these things and who are worried and who wonder what we can do, or at least have someone to go through it with. Because I know there's 2 of us here who think the same way. So I know there's others out there. So please feel free to connect, reach out, write a comment, let me know. This is where my weird mind goes, and my camera's about to die. So until next time, this is Hollistics, and we'll have more conversations, and we'll see you then. Okay? Thanks for listening. Bye.
Download your free copy of the Reconnection Movement today. Just head over to my website, www.hollismahady.com. Go to the podcast sections, scroll to the bottom of the page, and enter your email to get your free copy instantly. Now more than ever, it's important that we reconnect and support real human creators and real people. Are you enjoying the podcast? If you'd like to support what I'm building, you can buy me a coffee. Every bit of support helps me keep this podcast going and release my music independently. You can leave a one-time tip or become a member for a few dollars a month and unlock exclusive content and behind-the-scenes footage you won't find anywhere else. Just visit buymeacoffee.com/Hollis Mahady or scan the code you see on the screen. When you're truly independent, creating music isn't just art, it's devotion. It's late nights, long days, and pouring your own time, energy, and money into something you believe in, something you feel called to bring into the world. Right now, the world is overflowing with content, music everywhere, so much of it generated in seconds by machines. And somewhere in that noise, real artists are fighting to be heard. The ones who spent years learning their craft, the ones who turned their pain into songs, the ones who kept going when it would have been easier to quit. Most people scroll past without thinking about the soul behind the sound. But if you ever find music that moves you, that heals something in you, that makes you feel less alone, remember, there's a real person behind it. Because good music isn't noise. It's something sacred. If you discover music that speaks to you, support the people who made it, if you can. It's been a long time in the making, and we poured everything into building this platform. But the past no longer matters. What matters is what we do from here. This was built by everyday people, sick of being suppressed, censored, and banned. wasn't built by far-removed millionaires or trust fund kids. It was built by people willing to take a stand and create a space that actually matters. We're calling on those guided not by ego or personal gain, but by purpose and drive. People who don't ask, how can you help me? But ask, how can we help each other? Too many times, the world rewards those who take without giving back. We want something different. Our mission is to lift voices that have been silenced, to share the stories that rarely get heard, and to create a space where freedom, truth, and authenticity thrive. This isn't just a network, it's a community, a movement built by the people, for the people. The next chapter is about collaboration, courage, and amplifying what truly matters. That's where the future begins, and we want you in it.
Oh, there, I'm off mute now. Welcome back. All right. So it's very weird, doing this podcast here. This is my first podcast, my first episode of Hollistics, and it's a bit of a trial, as I don't think it's on YouTube or Facebook. It's supposed to be, but we'll re-air this. But yeah, so I think it's appropriately fitting, the first episode. And I'm looking in the camera right now, so I'm trying to look at you, if there's people out there. And if there's not, even though, as I said, Dan, my husband, I love you. And he does 6-hour shows. And I've done a few live streams like on Rumble and stuff, but, it wasn't my own show. It was just a live stream, but this is my show now, as you can see up there, Holistics. And I just talked, maybe there was people watching or whatever. It's actually harder than you think. You're up here all of a sudden, like, I do not get nervous. And then all of a sudden you're like, is anyone watching? Is anyone chatting? Do you have any followers? Is anyone looking? And then you realize you're programmed to think this. It's just like what I said in that video we just put on, right? It's like followers, social media, original thought. There, all of these things, original thought, free thinking. Like, we don't have that anymore. It's like, some people do, but there's not, it's like almost you have to be told who to follow. Even, as I said, stepping back out and getting back active on my social media. I hate social media. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I wonder if anyone else feels that way. We have to train ourselves not to look at it when we wake up in the morning. It's going to put you in a bad mood if you don't have followers. Who told us, like, who designed this? Well, if you watch Dan's show, he'll really break down who did design this, and that this has been a long design or scheme for many, many, many years, and they're quite good at what they do. So here we are on the brink of the end of humanity, which is what this episode is going to be called, the Reconnection Movement, the end of humanity. But we're here. That's why I did this. It is, you're putting yourself out there. And I find myself too, like, is anyone watching? You don't see any comments. God forbid anyone leaves a tip. That's a tip right there. It's an animation, and you could see the coins drop. So let's try it out and see if it's not broken. But, I find myself now, when I'm putting out my music on the Instagram or the TikTok or the Facebook or the YouTube, and you put it out and you're like, did anyone see the video? Did anyone look? And I made a video last week and talking about this. It's actually on my YouTube if you want to look at it. It's called Musicians versus Machines. And it's it's all this subject. But I put that out there because last year I did a Patreon campaign. Now, if you know what that is, it's like a Kickstarter or like a Buy Me a Coffee or whatever. It's where you ask for subscriptions. And the reason I did that was I was like, well, I'm going to try again, because about 10 years ago, when I was in my first band, the Love Zombies, my band that I started, I poured my soul into that band. It all went to shit. But 10 years ago, again, a long time, right, when I wrote the Reconnection Movement, we raised a lot of money on a crowdfunder. It was called Pledge Campaign, and that was in the UK. And it was a different time back then. And we had asked people to pre-order the CD. Like, so this was CDs. God, I sound so old. This was CDs back then. But it was like pre-order the CDs, pre-order the merchandise, and the fans would pay, and then we would get that money and we would be able to make the record. And we did do that. And we were able to raise a lot of money. Like $25,000 we raised, I think, our first one, and we did a second one, and it was like over $10,000. I mean, that kind of money now for an artist to raise, I thought that's pretty good, but we wouldn't have the best guidance, and we ended up not spending it wisely, and then we had no money left to promote and this and that. And let's just say you live and learn, and that's where the comedy of errors came from. A lot of that learning. What can you do? You have to laugh. You kind of have to laugh at yourself in your life. Otherwise, what will you do? You'll cry and you'll get depressed and down, and that's the game. They want you to be depressed and down and hating yourself and hopeless and, oh my gosh, it's never going to work again. And so not 2 years ago, about a year and a half ago, I did a Patreon campaign. And that was same kind of thing where you do the behind the scenes. And I was like, I'm going to reach out to my fans to try to make money again, because I had already recorded my album and I had paid for it myself. So this time I was like, I don't need money for that, but I want to show the whole behind the scenes journey. And I was like building Passion Productions, which is what I still did that. It was a production company, and I was going to show the behind the scenes. And I ended up putting it out there. And a lot of people, not a lot, but I don't know, maybe 20 people signed up for it, but no one paid. And I think there was one paying member, and Dan paid. And I was like, well, expected him to pay. It doesn't really count, but thank you. But I had one paying member, and I remember thinking it wasn't even like, I was like, I'm not going to be able to have time to do this. This takes so much time. It takes so much time to edit videos. It takes so much time to record content, to put it out there, to make graphics, and then it takes time to pay for it. And you have to go be working jobs so you could pay for it. I'm like, I just felt very negative at the time. And I remember getting really kind of down on myself. And I was like, oh, no one cares about music. No one cares about me. Like, just like, oh, I guess no one cares anymore. Not realizing or putting two and two together that it's just a different time now. I mean, everybody and their mother and their brother and their dog and their cat. And I said this in my other video. They're asking for money or subscription or follow me. I need, follow me, and I need your money for this or that. And I get it. Okay, it's fine. It's great. Right now they say TikTok and YouTube, that's where you need to be. That's where you're going to have millions of people. You're exposed to billions. It sounds great, right? Oh, you're exposed to billions. You'll get discovered on YouTube or TikTok, and there's billions of people out there just waiting for your music and waiting to discover you and all that stuff. And it's just like, that's the problem. Everybody's an entertainer now. Everybody's a freaking star in the dope show. That's what this guy, I know Marilyn Manson said that, obviously, but my friend Mike, I talked to in a long time, he messaged, he was going through the same thing. He's like, I spent hours and time and videos, and you'll put it out and no one will even see it because there's millions of people out there and billions of people, and they're all competing to be seen. And everybody's a star in the dope show, aren't they? Everybody wants to be a star. That's the funny thing this time, I was younger. I was a lot younger when I started this journey. I think we're all young and we dream the lure and the grand illusion of fame and fortune. And, it's not really our fault because we're told that's what you have to strive for in life, right? You want to be a star. You need to be famous. You need to get money. Not everybody, wants that, but a lot of people do. I think a lot of people do because they want to get out of the shit world if you're not one, if you don't have the money, if you don't have the power, if you're not a celebrity, right? Everyone wants the quick fix, Well, I will say, I lived in Hollywood. I've been there. I saw it, played the game, and it's not fun. It sucks. So I think the point is saying nobody gets out, right, nobody gets out alive, right? But I don't think you can escape. You can't escape yourself. You can't escape the darkness. You kind of have to, I don't know if that's the right word, but yeah, you can't escape. It comes for you if you don't look at yourself and if you don't find happiness and meaning inside. And I think that's ties in back to my dryer's going crazy there. That ties back into what I'm saying, the search for meaning for life and what is this all about? And especially the social media now and the takeover with AI. And it's constantly making us distracted. We're distracted. We don't remember who we are, right? That's a line I always say that saying. Said it to myself. I have to tell myself, remember who you are. Remember who you really are. Remember you're powerful. And, when everybody could be in a world where everybody could be a star and followers. I mean, why should anyone follow me? Why should we follow each other? I mean, who made this up? Followers. Literally, Dan sent me earlier. We were talking about it. When I would say, gosh, I look at my Instagram, no one's following me. I have 400 followers. And then I'm like, why would people follow me? I haven't put out content in a long time. You want people to follow you. But I don't know. The whole thing is just, I can't buy my followers. I'm not going to buy followers. I don't want people to follow me if they don't want to. I want people here. I want people to listen to this message. I want people to say, I don't want to follow her. I want to join her. I want to join her in what she's doing. I think this, like what my whole video was just about, I think we need that. I want to join her. I want to join others like her. I want to join her. I don't want to follow her. I'm not out here to be like, oh my God, my ego. I'm the king. I'm the leader. Follow me. Follow me. It's disgusting. People pay for their followers. And I'll read a little bit. And Dan sent me this earlier because sometimes I would say, no one's following me on social media. And then I catch myself. I'm like, it's not even my own thoughts telling me this. Like, oh, you're a loser because you only have 400 followers. How did they get 900,000 followers or 95,000 followers? Oh, they must have cracked the algorithm. It's us. It's humans against the algorithm. On TikTok, you have to learn the algorithm. You have to learn what the algorithm, and you have to hook people in because people don't have attention spans past three seconds. I mean, you do have to do something really fun. You have to pee on the floor. You have to pee in the snow. That'll catch their attention. Well, if those are the people, I'm not after those people. Like to be my audience. I want to find the very few, because I am always a believer in quality over quantity. I would rather 10 freaking great fans and friends and partners, not followers, to help me in this mission, to help Dan and I, to help me, to help other musicians who've been screwed over by the industry. I don't want them to follow me. I want them to join me. I want them to join me on my new platform that I spent freaking 6 years, not 6 years, 2 years building, but like a lifetime to get here, to be part of it, to join it, and I want people to follow me when they realize who I am and what I've done and what I'm doing. Now, I don't want them to follow me because I paid like an advertisement or I boosted my post so they'll follow me. Like, it's so freaking fake. It's so fake. And I think we said it, let's see. Social media influencers. Okay, so how does social media influencers buy their followers to make themselves look popular? And Grok says that social media influencers and others buy followers through third-party websites, services that specialize in selling fake or low quality. Okay, now but you could go, then it says like how they do it and stuff. So they buy it. So they spend their money. I could buy whatever, 100,000, 100 followers, 50,000, whatever. It's probably all different prices. And then the delivery happens, and then they get the bots, the automated fake accounts that, will make the comments. So inactive or low activity accounts, follower farms, incentivize or exchange networks. So they do all this stuff. But why do influencers do it? Influencers. Now remember, guys, these are the ones we're supposed to follow because they're influencing me. They're influencing us because we can't think for ourselves, right? We have to, who should we like? Who's the algorithm and the bots telling me to follow, right? So why do influencers do it? Why do people do it? The main goal is social proof. A high follower count makes an account appear credible, successful, and worth following or partnering with. Okay, so that's what makes someone look credible when everyone's following them, right? So it doesn't matter really what they're saying, what their content is, what they're actually doing, what they've done for humanity, what they've done for whatever. it's about how many followers they have and how much money they had in their wallets to pay for the followers, right? Because I've never paid for a follower. I don't have the money to pay for followers, and I wouldn't pay for followers. And like I said earlier, I would rather have my 400 followers or 50 followers who actually believe in what I'm saying, who might pick up, their wallet and freaking buy my song instead of download it for free, who might say, you know what, I like what she's doing with the Reconnection Movement. We should band together. Let's support each other. Or I love what they're doing with Voice of the People radio. That must have taken a lot of time. Like, that's something we should all, jump on and bring smart people together. Like, my audience, I don't want to have to pee on camera for someone to follow me. Like, I don't want it. I think that's the thing. It's just like we're just programmed and conditioned. Like, this is what you have to do. This is the only way to break through. And for music too. I've taken a few like courses and things because I thought, oh, well, I'm releasing music myself and I love my music. It's my heart. It's everything. And I want people to hear it, and I just feel like it's so sad because some days I feel like it's going to get lost. It's a work of art. Now, not just mine. There's other people too. I'm not saying it all like, oh, it's only me. Only I'm good. Not at all. I feel bad for the people who care more about their music and their art and their message and whatever else they're doing, the book they wrote that came from their soul, not from ChatGPT. From their music didn't come from from what the hell is that thing called? I don't remember. What is it? Sonar or something? They didn't come from there. It came from their soul. It came from their pain. It came from their passion. It came from the gift that God gave them. That's where it came from. It didn't come from these places. I lost my train of thought what I was saying, but that happens to me sometimes. But let's see, hold on. So I'll just go back to this real quick. But again, why did they do it? A high follower count makes an account appear credible, successful, and worth following or partnering with. Brands often use follower numbers as a quick filter for sponsorships. Again, it's just such bullshit. It's all the same stuff. Even we've dealt with it. Oh, it doesn't matter that literally millions of people, we have the statistics, listen to Dan's show. It doesn't matter that he's been on the air for 20 years, that he has this underground following that's huge. It doesn't matter. What are your social media followers? Well, I don't know. I don't have enough money to buy them. So let me go spend the rest of my money that I could be using on something worthwhile and go buy followers. So then you'll give me money. It makes sense, doesn't it? You see this horse shit that we live in. So my recommendation is go, if you're really looking for people, go find the people with not a lot of followers. And they're most likely the real people, because other ones we play the game. And, I am not playing that game. I don't want to waste my life and my music trying to figure out hooks in the beginning of an ad. So, oh, guys, look at my music and flash my boobs and pee on the ground. So people, oh, I must look at that. I must follow her. She it's so stupid. Like, I want quality over quantity. I don't, because it doesn't, like I said earlier, I'm not trying to be a music star. I'm not. And I think that's the sad thing, that it's different ages, I'm older now and I'm still doing it. It's not to be a star. This is a curse. It's a blessing and a curse, because I never cared that much about money. I really never did. I need it like everybody, right? We need resources. Just streaming this platform alone costs like $80 a month just to stream. Rumble, where I'm on, I have to pay $25 just for it to go live. The list goes on and on and on. So it's just ridiculous. And for this take a long time, even to set up this looking nice and learning how to do everything and all that. It took a long time. And I wanted to do something special, and I wanted to do something meaningful. And besides even this podcast, I'm going to be doing one that's really just about music and my whole album. But my album's about kind of this stuff. Like, obviously this stuff reflects into the messages in my music and stuff. So it's not just all me. That's another thing. I know I'm talking about myself a lot, and the album is obviously my music, but it's about the deeper, bigger questions and themes of life. This isn't about ego for me. It's not just look at me. And that's how I feel like, to get ahead or to get the followers, you just have to just be all about like me. And I don't know. The whole thing is just cringe. So it's like coming back after all these years, after having my not little, I guess, my long stint with the Love Zombies and having a little bit of success with that. But I will get into that. That is all saved for a Comedy of Errors podcast. And that is literally, it's $10 a month to join. I'm going to be doing, and it's on my Buy Me a Coffee. It's scrolling across the top there. If you go to my website, hollismahady.com, you could join there if you're interested. That is where I'm going to get into the really behind the scenes of the music industry. That's really just about music. And like I said, it's not just about my music. We're going to talk about other things going on and the themes of my songs, which is, shadows, darkness, but then it goes into the light and the journey of the soul and the psyche. And there's like a lot of complex stuff, but that's, I know it's not for everybody, and that's okay. It's not for everybody. And I'm not looking for everybody. Like I said, I'm looking for those people who really understand what's at stake right now and what's at stake with AI and humanity. I don't want to say my age, but I'm not like in my 20s. I was born in the 80s, and we were the last, I really do feel we're the last generation here who remembers what it's like not to be a robot. Everything I said in the Reconnection Movement there. Like, we remember what it's like to not have phones. Like when we were, and people who were older than me, they had longer times without phones. So they got used to what it's like to just go out for coffee and not have a phone and just like talk. And then you remember, like when you go home, you have that memory. Like if it was a good time, certain times you remember for a long time, just those meaningful connections that are so few and far between this day and age. We have to fight for them. That's what I think is the main, what's the word? The main message. We have to fight. People like me. I know there has to be some people out there. Hi, Elias. Elias is in the chat room. Are you still there, Elias? Well, thank you for coming in, and thank you for saying hello. It's good to see you via chat. And we have to fight to preserve what's left, at least for us, for each other. As I said, if you have kids, fight for your kids, fight for your future with it, fight for your kids' future. And when I say fight for it, like I said, there's no stopping AI. Like, it's here and it is not going anywhere. And I cringe thinking, oh my gosh, what's going to be like in 5 years? What's going to be like in 10 years? What I said in the video, is Elon Musk right? Will we not need jobs? Will robots do everything? And he said in one of his videos, like he's worried, what will people find purpose and meaning for, because a lot of people just work their whole lives. And I get that, I know what he's saying, but I don't know. Any comments out there, just let me know. But yeah, I know I'm kind of all over the place, but it's nice. It's talk therapy. I'm getting more used to it now. So I will take a little intermission here to say, look I have my lyric painting. I'm at 6% right now. So now I said here, lyric painting giveaway once I hit $100. Now, again, the reason why, like I'm asking, I'm going to take tips and stuff because this is not free. It is not free to do this. And I want to offer value to my followers. No, I don't want my followers, my friends, people who feel the same way, because it costs a lot of money to do what I'm trying to do and what I've done and what I'm building. The bills are endless. So if you enjoy it, if you can't, I'm not asking hundreds of dollars, $1. And if you throw $1 in the tip jar, you could put more if you can. And you enjoying this, if you're enjoying it, thank you. Send something. The little coins will drop it into the cup. And it took me a long time to set that up. So I like to see it work. But I don't know. There's 6% in there now. There was only 1% before. So I didn't see any coins drop. But if anyone did that, I will find out. And I'll thank you. And I thank you very much for that. But my point is once it hits 100, it's $100, I'm going to give a giveaway. And I'll show you what it is right here. Okay, so I made these. Okay, I don't know if you can see them because, oh yeah, okay. See, it's like I have a green screen behind me. It's like cut out. This is so funny. Oh, there we go. Okay, I'll just hold it in front of me. Okay, this one's Hole in Our Hearts. These are hand-painted lyric sheets. This is Edenshire. This is This is one of my favorite songs too on the album. They're all, I love them. Like, and I'm not even trying to be like, oh, my music's so good. It's just, to me, it's very special. And Edenshire is about finding heaven on earth. And I'll get into that next time. Like I said, A Comedy of Errors, my other podcast, is really all about the music. But I made these about 3 years ago. It was when I was back in Scranton. And I was building Holly's Playhouse, and that's on my YouTube. I'll play a little commercial if you want to check that out. That really shows the journey of what happened in 2020 when the coronavirus hit, and I was living in Las Vegas at the time, and they made us non-essential workers. I mean, musicians always are just like, oh, people don't really always take them seriously, and artists and stuff. Oh, that's we were just called non-essential. So it's basically a whole little mini series I made about that. But it was during the time when I was back in Scranton and I was about to play a show at Montage Mountain. And like I said, this album's been a long time in the making. I had the songs back then, but the timing of releasing them and everything. What's that noise? I gotta tell, oh my God, thank you. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. I just got a coin. Patriot, thank you. I love you. Thank you so much. That's so cool. Aw, Patriot 250. I really appreciate you. You are now entered to win one of these. Like I said, this is anyone who tips, if it's like a dollar, whatever amount, even just $1. That's all, thank you so much. You're going to be entered into the drawing and we'll do it live. Like I'm only a head right now. Do you see my head only in here? It's weird. It's like I'm like in Poltergeist. You know how she comes out of screen, Carol Ann? Remember that movie? Oh, man. We should talk about that. That was like, wow. Well, Dan and I, we were talking about doing a Coast to Coast. I don't know if anyone ever saw that show or listened to that radio show about a little, aw. Oh, my gosh. Thank you so much. It was Elias. I just see this, Elias. I'm new at this. Sage has tipped $5. Thank you so much. You are now entered to win a hand-painted lyric sheet. That's going to be worth a lot more money someday than I'm selling them for. But yeah, these are also on my website too. I'm selling them. I'm selling them for $50 each. And all the money, I can't say my head is like in the screen there, but all the money I raise from this, obviously some of it goes towards helping stay on air with the bills and everything. Thank you again, Elias, if you're still there. Thank you. I love it. Look at the little coins in the cup. That's awesome. But yeah, I started at 1 and now we're at 7. But when we get to 100, we'll do a drawing. I'll pick them from a cup or something. We'll put all the people. I'm keep track of it, and then you'll win one, and I will mail it to you personally. So, but yeah, these are the titles of my songs, and it was back in Scranton. I remember I was so sad when I wrote these. Actually, it was my cat got hit by a car. I don't want to talk about it because I'll start crying, but it was horrible. I was so sad. And I was about to do this big show I had worked so long to get at Montage Mountain. And it was just like 2 weeks before it. Oh my gosh, I got to tell the story one of these days about Tinklepaw. Her name was Tinklepaw. She was a little angel. I loved her so much. But she got hit by a car and I was devastated because my dad had just died. Well, like a few months before, obviously. And she was like my little angel, and she was there for me, and I was living in Scranton, and it's all in Holli's Playhouse. But my point is, I know I don't want to be too depressing or sad, but my point is, I remember the day I was on the porch, and it was like therapy, and I didn't know what to do, and I was Hole in Our Hearts is one of my songs. I was writing these lyrics, and I painted them. They're on nice little canvases, and I think I have about 25 of them. So I'm selling them on my website, because any of the money I make is going to go towards the release of the album, the costs associated with promoting and boosting ads. I mean, I get it. You have to advertise, right? You got to get it out. And then you're trying to compete with all these people we talked about earlier, whatever. But I do want to give it the best chance it can to break through the noise because it deserves to be heard. And I know that. And look, I just have a head in a screen now. I don't know what happened. I'm back. Hi. Hi, everybody. Okay. But yeah, so now the money, since the album's done and paid for, really the biggest thing is trying to get it out there and pay for ads. And I mean, because you have to. I mean, I don't want to do it, but you have to, like anything, you have to. The only way people get big in music, please, back in the day, they spend millions and millions of dollars. I'm not trying to like I said earlier, I'm not trying to be a music star, but I think my music's good and I think it deserves to be heard. So I want to give it the best chance. So anything you buy up there, all that, any of that money is going to go towards the promotional costs and also the cost it takes to hire people. Because I like to do a good video I would love to do one for all my songs. I edit everything myself so I could save money with that. That takes forever. I enjoy it though. I like it. And it took me so long to learn how to do all this stuff. But I'm really proud of myself. I did it. But I can't do everything myself. And even like 2 weeks ago, I hired a woman. Oh, she was so awesome. I love her. Go look at my new website pictures, www.hollismahady.com. Oh, it's scrolling on the top of the thing there. And there's some pictures up there from the website from her name's Andrea Witt. Oh, I loved her so much. Hopefully we're going to be working together more. But, she's an artist. She needs to make a living. I need to pay her as well, and I want to pay her. Like, you want to support these people because they're like me. She's doing her thing with photography. She's awesome. So I hope to go back to her and maybe she may be able to shoot some video or know someone or use their studio again. But, these things cost money. So any money I raise is going to go into the content creation of it, like hiring someone to help me shoot the video or, like I said, into the ads and promotion. So the buy me a coffee's there and the lyric sheets, you can buy one. But that's why I'm saying this nice value here. If you drop a tip in the tip jar, a coin, you will be automatically entered to win. Okay, I think I talked about that long enough. And also if you scan, like that's where you tip or whatever, you scan that thing. And this is a serious question. If anyone's out there, a lot of people watch these on their phone. So you can't scan that with your phone, obviously. So if you're at a computer, you could scan it with your phone and like a link pops up and it takes you there. Otherwise, it's in the chat room. It's the streamlabs.com/VOPUSA radio/tip. It's like a little link there. And if you go on there. Okay. So anyway, let's see. Maybe I should play a commercial. I've made all these commercials and then I did I'll do an intermission. And it's just a lot of commercials. Here, let me play the Hollis Playhouse commercial. This is, like I said, this took me a long time to edit. This was my first real project I was determined to learn how to edit during COVID. Like I knew how to edit some stuff. Like I used iMovie. I don't know who's familiar with this stuff, but I was like, determined when I got kicked in the ass back to Scranton after, I don't know, 15 years in the music industry, going home with nothing, no money, nothing. And just a lot of hurt and devastation and regret. And, it sounds negative. There was some good stuff about it, and I have the Love Zombies music for sale too. At the time, I loved what I was doing. So I'm never knocking it, but it's a different version of you. You learn and you grow. And I think when people stick with it and they never quit, those are the people I love so much because I know how you feel. You can't let the songs or maybe it's not songs made for you, maybe something else, whatever it is, your passion. Don't lose the dream. Don't stop. Don't let the music in your heart die. Don't let the songs die. And that's why I fight. So here, this is Hollis Playhouse. I'm going to play this for you. And you can watch this on VOPUSAradio.com. It's free to watch. You just put in your email, and there's 10 episodes there. And it tells a little bit more, about me if you're interested. And why you should follow me. Ooh. Here we go.
Hollis Playhouse is a raw, real, and emotionally charged docu-style miniseries following the turbulent journey of me, singer-songwriter Hollis Mahady, who left Scranton, Pennsylvania in 2010 to chase stardom in Hollywood. For nearly a decade, I fought to make my mark in the entertainment industry until 2019, when the world changed overnight. Told through a lens of humor, heartbreak, and hope, this is a deeply personal series that captures the highs and lows of a creative spirit navigating sudden change. If you want to check it out, head over to www.VOPUSAradio.com. Just go down to the Arts and Entertainment channel and you'll find it there for free to watch.
All right, now I'll play the music commercial.
Need some new tunes to listen to? Why not try the Hollis Mahady Music Collection? As I move towards the new, I'm closing an old chapter with gratitude. To celebrate the new music on the horizon, I've gathered my complete past collection and made it available all in one place. The collection includes 2 full albums with my previous band Love Zombies, Passion Fruit, and No Slow songs recorded live at Abbey Road Studios, the Be Honest EP with Love Zombies, Hollis original songs, Hollis cover songs, a bonus Christmas album. And this collection represents the journey that brought me here today and the doorway into what's next. To purchase the music collection, head over to hollismahady.com and go to the store. All funds raised go directly towards promoting and advertising my new album on my own label, Voice of Freedom Records. Thanks so much for supporting independent music.
All right, and now I will play about the Comedy of Errors podcast, the other one. This is for the music fans.
I'm pulling back the curtain to let you in on a truly rare behind-the-scenes experience. Welcome to the Comedy of Errors podcast, your exclusive look at the music, the story, and the journey that goes into making it all happen. This podcast is for those who want to go deeper, explore the themes of life and music, and be part of something truly special. For just $10 a month, you'll get access to this one-of-a-kind community and help support the release and promotion of my new album. If you want in, head over to buymeacoffee.com and become a backstage member. This is the only place I'll be sharing this journey. See it all unfold in real time before it's released to the world. I can't wait to share this with you.
All right, so there you go. There's a couple commercials. And like I said, that's why it took a long time. I made all those commercials. It took forever, but now I could, when I'm talking about certain things, I could go to them, but I'm doing everything here myself. And again, I want to say thank you so much again to Patriot 250. I don't know if you're still there. And I just thought about this. Like, if you want to sign up for my email on hollismahady.com, because I want to be able to keep track in case you do win. I hope you come back, because this is my goal, is to do this every night. Maybe not 7 days a week, but 5 days a week. Just to even, I don't know. I have to pick a consistent time and just come and just, talk. But I will need, I guess, the email, because if you win, I would like to send you your lyric sheet if you're the winner. But yeah, I'll just have to figure that out. But I hope you'll come back to the show, because I'm just gonna keep doing it, and just like I said, this is day one. For many years, I was building, but I was also hiding. I talk about masks a lot. And I don't know, at the end of the day, it's fear. Fear of what? Not getting the followers. It's not even the followers, failing, or I don't know. Because I always believed in myself, That's why I went out and did all that stuff. I went to Hollywood. I could do it. I could be a star. I always believed in myself. But when you start to peel back the layers of the onion, you start to uncover a lot of messed up stuff inside of you. And I think everybody deals with that. And I think it's very brave for people to look at that. And I think a lot of people don't look at that. It's not fun. But I've always been a believer that my purpose, and maybe not everybody's, and it's certainly not everybody's, my purpose here is to learn and to grow and to evolve and to be better than I was years ago. Or not even better, because you're younger, we blame ourselves, and I did that for a while. I beat myself up. Well, I made mistakes like everybody, and you beat yourself up, and we're so mean to ourselves, right? We're mean to ourselves, and we are hard on ourselves, and we didn't know maybe better at the time. Maybe we did, but we make mistakes, and that's what life is about. It's about, this is my 2 cents on it. I think life is really about finding who you are. And it sounds very cliche, you're always searching. I was always searching. I'm I thought I had to go out. I sound like it, freaking like the Wizard of Oz. It was with you the whole time, dear. And it's always with you. Let me do a little commercial.
15 show slots are now open on Voice of the People USA Radio and Television Network. With millions of monthly listeners worldwide, VOP USA is accessible on Roku TV, Fire TV, Android TV, the mobile apps, and the web. An alternative to oversaturated, algorithm-driven social media. Our network is the first streaming network backed by creators, not big tech, not special interests. This is true independence. To learn more, visit VOPUSARadio.com. Join the network. Are you liking the music in this show? The music you hear in my videos and during the show is licensed through Epidemic Sound, an amazing platform for creators. If you make videos, podcasts, or content of your own, head over to HollisMahady.com, go to the podcast page, and sign up for a free trial using my link. And if you're just a listener looking for new music, you'll also find my playlist of favorite songs I use in this show. Signing up through my link supports the show and the musicians too.
But yeah, there's a lot there. And as like I said, this is new, and I got to get into the flow in the routine. I'll never forget, this is my first show. This is cool. I'm so happy. I was saying we're hard on ourselves in life. And I do this too. So trust me, I'm not like preaching, like don't do this, but I know we're hard on ourselves, and we never, or it's less rare to give yourself a break sometimes. And to if you did something, you accomplished something, say congratulations to yourself. I'm really proud of myself. And I used to never, I'm not good. It's not enough. I didn't get that. Whatever. Like I was very hard on myself, ambitious, and like nothing, never good enough. And I have to keep going till I get this. And we're always chasing something outside of ourselves. I think that's where I was before the weird freaking keyboard alien robot. It was the robot was coming. So he came to interrupt me. He came to interrupt the real human. But I know myself, and we're also, I feel conditioned to this. We're always searching outside of ourselves, right? It's always like, oh, that'll make you happy. The job or promotion will make you happy. The wife or the partner will make you happy. And so, yeah, like, I'm not going to lie. Sometimes these things do bring you temporary happiness, but then the relationship goes south and it's like, oh, I want to die, or that you lose your job and your identity's gone. And, these are real things that happen. Like I faced all of them, but at the end of the day, I think it's the real happiness. It sounds cliche. Like I said, Dorothy has been with you the whole time. It is finding yourself through it all and finding that connection to yourself again. If it's religion, if you're, God, a higher power, those are the important things in life. Those are the things that it's just, I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. I have time to pray. I don't have time for that. I'm so busy. I'm so busy rushing around. I'm so busy trying to find what it is that's going to make me happy. But it's really, I think it's an inner peace, and it's not easy to find. And trust me, I'm not saying I have all the answers, but through my journey, I'm the happiest I've ever been because I've come out through the other side. And even this is a big step. This took a long time to do. And why did it have to? Why did it have to take so long? Oh, I needed to be perfect. I need a commercial. I need this. I could have gone on a microphone and talked a long time ago, but I was also hiding away. I was hiding away because I had, like everybody, you have experiences, trauma, and things like that, and you doubt yourself and you question yourself. And like I said, it's done by design a lot of the time. The world teaches us to, it teaches us that happiness is outside. It's about how much money you have. That's what it's taught. Like the followers, about how many followers you have. It's about your social media. How much social. What's your social media? I'm so sick of freaking social media. Ugh, so stupid social media. That's our life, literally. Social, especially for people online. The content creators and even people who don't want to be part of it, who have businesses. Can you imagine the people in mom and pops from back in the day? Like they're still going, but they're being told you need to be on social media. They have to go on social media. And it's just the new way. There's no more newspapers. I mean, there are newspapers, but it's not like the way it used to be. It's just things have shifted. It's everything I was talking about earlier in that video. Just this is the new way forward. But I think it's hard. I think it's hard on a lot of people. And as I said, I think a lot of us who are older, my age, older, a little bit younger, I think you long for that simplicity. Life has always been tough. There's hard things you can't escape in life. Like, right? When someone dies, I mean, it's awful. It's the worst pain you'll ever feel. I think probably everybody, if you're older, lost someone at this point. Losing a pet is just so painful. And then a human. And it's just, these are things you can't escape. But now let's throw into robots are going to come and like steal your jobs. Let's throw that into the mix. It's like, what is this? This is a comedy of errors. That's what my album's called, A Comedy of Errors. And you have to laugh. Because remember, we are here to have fun. And I get very deep sometimes. And I don't want to be heavy or depressed. Like, oh my God, woe is me. I'm saying we got to laugh at it because it's done on purpose. And if you are angry, the best way to combat it is to live your best life, to be happy, to laugh, to watch whatever it is that makes you happy, to laugh, to not let it destroy you, to not let it beat you down, to not let it make you run away and stay under the covers for the rest of your life because whatever happened to you, whatever it is, because everybody's dealt with some horrible thing that's happened to them or someone they know, whatever it is, from personal trauma, abuse to getting injured, getting a sickness, losing someone. Everyone's deals with it, and it's hard to escape that sometimes, the sadness of life. But it's also important, if you can look at things a different way. We're all here to grow. That's what I've always felt. And like I said, this, maybe other people don't feel like that, and that's all right. This is the way I've coped with things that happened in my life. And, coping with the loss of my dad and other people I've known and my cat. I know, like I said, I mentioned it earlier. That was the first, like, I had a cat when I was younger. Aw, his name was Mr. Willie. God bless you, Mr. Willie. I miss you. But Tinkle Paw was special. I'll have to share that video. I'll tell that story another day. I might even do a little video about it. I can't really tell the story because I'll probably start crying. So I'll pre-record it so I can edit it in case I cry. But losing a pet, it's so hard. And that was always my outlet. That's how I healed, was music. I have a song on my album called Hole in Our Hearts. And like I said, I didn't want to put that out first because it's sad. Yeah, it's pretty sad. I was going to say it's not that sad, but no, it's sad. And but I don't want to be a Debbie Downer because I said, through the darkness, you find the light. And I also have another song on my album called Heyoka. And Heyoka is a little bit more lighter and fun. But that's like a Heyoka. I learned this, I forget where I found that, but like they say that the Heyoka is like a sacred clown. And like they're the people who go backwards, like everything's backwards to them. They like laugh at life and everything's like society. There's the Heyoka, the spirit sacred clown. They're funny, but they're like spiritual and they don't go in the same direction as everyone. They're always going the opposite way. And I've always felt when I read that, I kind of connected with that. I was like, I've always felt like a weird jester or a clown. When I was like 10 years old, I always wanted to be a jester, a court jester for Halloween. And I was like, what? Maybe in a past life, I was like, in those medieval times when they're like, you see the movies and like the drawbridge and there's like the clown there with his guitar and trying to like make people like laugh. And they're kind of they can be creepy too with the shoes and the hat. But like, I swear, I feel like in a past life, I was a court jester. Some of these things, like they resonate with you. Like, why? Why do you have an affinity for a certain thing? I always wanted to be a jester. Always wanted to be. This was before the Batman movies and the Joker and the clown and all that. Since I was like 10 years old, I loved being a clown. And that's why in the Comedy of Errors, I have the hat and the things, and I'm just like, this is so cool. I could bring it to life. And that brings back to a point where there is good things about, there are good things, I shouldn't say is good things, there are good things about technology and AI. And we get into that another day because there's a lot we could talk about. There are pros and cons. You can't live in the Stone Age and be like, oh, you can't, nothing can change. You kind of have to adapt because this is coming. And I also saw something Elon Musk said, and I kind of was like, oh, I don't know. Because he's obviously a genius and all that, but like he thinks he's a pretty deep thinker probably, but he was thinking like, he said something. I wish I could find the video. I don't know how to do all that yet. Bring the video in and show you while I'm talking. There's a way, but we'll figure out that next time. But he was saying something about like, obviously he's in SpaceX and all that, but saying there's such a vast universe out there. That's my background there, the cosmos and everything. We're humans, we're here on this planet having this experience, and things do evolve. So he said he wanted to see like the rest of the consciousness and world and see what we're really here for and conscious. And when he was saying that, I was kind of like, that's kind of cool. That makes sense. But I don't know with Elon Musk. I'm not sure because putting microchips in people's brains and things like that, that's merging man and human. Now, I always said that, I remember reading, I don't know if this is true, and I think it is, when he's putting those microchips in people's heads, I don't know if it's him doing it, but they might help someone see again, if they were blind, or they might help someone walk again if they had a spinal injury and they could never walk, like these brain chips. Now, I mean, that sounds good, right? Like if they're helpful like that, like someone's blind and this thing, they have a surgery and they have the chip and now they could see. I mean, again, I kind of sound dumb here because I don't have all the facts, but like that stuff. So like say, like everything, there's the good and the bad, and everything always comes back down to the humans taking freaking overconsumption, too much of it. Now everything has to be a robot. Like it's just, this is such an important time where it's like up to the people, the real humans who value humanity, who value real connection, who value this enough to say, hey, we got to make some rules here and remember like what humans really are, because it would just be so sad without any more heart in the world. And I think it's already hard to find people who take a minute. Like it means a lot. And I really appreciate it. Even just the Patriot or Elias. And if someone else did it and I'm missing, I'm sorry, but like that you actually took the time to send me $1. It means a lot. People don't care anymore, And it's like, oh, everyone's asking for money. But yeah, but spend it on someone who's trying to do something good, And I really appreciate that. It means so much. Dan and I have done fundraisers and things, and we hardly made any money. And he has a huge audience. And I'm thinking if people just spent $1, it could help us so much, what we're building. We're building something to tell real stories, to connect people, to make a movement, to save humanity, to save, it's not just me and Dan trying to save humanity, but if people just gave $1 to that, but no, they'll just throw it away or they'll spend it on beer and weed and whatever. But I'm just saying, it's like, so the fact that if everyone just did $1, it's not about the amount. I always said if people just gave $1, if 1,000 people gave me $1, I could pay for the music studio. I could get the Reconnection things, books out there. I don't know, whatever. It's not just about me, but it's just like, it's like, but again, this is not about money or whatever, about begging for money or anything. It's just the point is, it means a lot. And I think it's even few and far between it. It's even harder, as I was saying earlier, when I did the Patreon campaign. And I was like, well, it's a good theory, right? You have 100 fans. If they're willing to pay $10 a month for my Patreon or my buy me a coffee, if I could get 100 people to pay $10, they commit to me, I will give them something in return. I work hard. I'll make sure you have something valuable. 100 people give me that's $1,000 a month. I could pay for my music studio. Music studio costs me $375 a month. All the other stuff. But it's to do something good and to help you too, to give you something for your money. It's not just like a follower on Instagram, like just could you go, it's just like, you're paying for something, but because I want to give value, I want to give you something, hope or whatever, connection. I think connection is the biggest thing, you know? And I realized too, when I was editing my videos, I say, a lot. And I try to work on that. I say it so much, you know what I'm saying? I also, when I was trying to pick my outfit for today, I wasn't sure what I should wear. And I had a vest in my closet. And then I realized, what are the point of vests? A lot of guys wear vests. Now, I got this vest and it was kind of cute. It was furry. But when I put it on, it makes me cold. It makes my arm is really cold. I don't know. Why do people wear vests? Anybody out there wearing a vest? I didn't mean to offend you for wearing a vest, but I don't know. I know hunters wear vests and stuff, but I just see the point of them. They make me colder when I put them on. Make my arms cold. Anyway, so yeah, I had a really good time. I don't even want to stop talking, but I'm going to come back. So I have to pick a fixed time slot, and then I got to stick to it and commit. Because I really would like to build a community. And I talked about it a little bit. I'll talk about it more tomorrow or next time about Voice of the People. Voice of the People is it's a platform. It's airing right now on the Voice of the People USA Radio and Television Network. And I really, I said I always foresaw things with the Reconnection Movement. I saw things ahead of the time. I know what we're building is very important. And I know it's special, and maybe not a lot of people realize it yet, but I know it's needed. It's going to be really needed because we are making sure the people who come on it get it, and it's I want to make sure on the music channel, there's no AI music. And as I said, if you make your videos or your clips in AI and all that, but that's the rule there. I want music. I really want to find music or someone, and there is it. I haven't really searched because I've just been trying to get my own thing going and everything. But I want to find that music where it makes you cry, not make you sad. But when's the last time? And if anyone's listening or in the chat room there, drop a comment. What's the last song that made you cry? Or not cry in a sad way, or moved you or made you feel something. That's the music. I want to find that. I want to find that, and I want to give that voice and that song or that artist a platform. But we need to help each other, and that's why I spent so long building this. It wasn't just for myself, but I did know that instead of trying to compete in a sea of zillions of people and having to pay the bots and pay the people and pay people to follow me, that was the thing. Even just putting my music out for the first time on Instagram, a couple weeks ago, I got 10 people right away. Oh, I like your music. I'm going to share it. I have 1 million followers or whatever. Not 1 million, but whatever. And I'll just write back, oh, thank you so much. Awesome. I appreciate that. Followed immediately by, okay, here's your price list. If I share it, it's this. You'll guaranteed you'll get likes, guaranteed you'll get followers, engagement. And that's what we're dealing with. That's what I'm up against. That's what a lot of real artists are up against. That's why I'm just saying there has to be another way. I'm not going to do that. I can't. I don't have the time. I don't have the heart. I just feel like the heart to do that. I understand, like I said, advertising budget. Yeah, you have to, anything, you have to pay for ads or something, for people to push it out to see it. But, followers and buying people to, I don't want them. I hope people discover it. I hope that it speaks enough that people say, oh, this is cool. I like this. Or, I want to hear more. Or, I told you, I say, a lot. If I had $1 for every, I'd be rich. I have to pee. But yeah, I'm a late night person. So I think just consistently doing this, we could build this together, guys. We could do it. We could build this together. And we're going to bring all the humans here. And we're going to make something. We're going to fight. Because I fight. I fight for what I believe in and fight for what's important. And yeah. So with that said, I guess I will. It's cool. I see that there's 24 viewers. I don't know. But there's some people in here watching. It's weird because you talk to yourself and you don't, if people aren't commenting, you don't know if anyone's there. And then you're just kind of talking to yourself, which that's all right. It's like talk therapy. I do it on Thursday nights with Dan, but there's always like kind of, he's there too. It's more the political stuff. But then when I get on, we end up talking about other stuff. Like I think I mentioned the Coast to Coast. I love that radio station. Coast to Coast always talked about like weird things like the angel readings and the Area 51 and the Sasquatch, like we were saying, all that stuff. So we have a radio and television network. So we're going to do something like that late night. But yeah, it just actually just feels it feels good. It feels fun to be back out. So remember the state, guys. Besides the weird little freaking, I don't know what that was. It sounded like that. It went crazy. The robot started attacking me in my soundboard over there. But today, now it's technically the March 15th. Wait, is that like the Ides of March? Isn't it? March 15th. Is that from Julius Caesar or something? The Ides of March. Et tu, Brute. Wasn't that? I didn't read the whole thing. I always thought that was a little bit. It was Shakespeare. Well, Shakespeare wrote A Comedy of Errors. That's what it's from. Shakespeare's a little hard to read, all that stuff. I know, like, that old English and the way they talked, you had to get the cliff notes and translate. But I do remember Et tu, Brute was even you, Brutus, like he stabbed Julius Caesar in the back or the heart. I don't know. I feel dumb because I didn't read the whole thing, but I do remember the gist of it. But yeah, it's hard to come by a good friend too. Loyalty, all these things. These are morals. When someone says they're going to call you back, call them back. We talk about it a lot because Dan's looking for a new job and it's just been a nightmare. People are so freaking mean. They just lie. They just lie to your face. No morals at all. Just who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? They say, "Oh, we'll call you back tomorrow." No, either way, we'll let you know. We're gonna, even if you don't get the job, it's not right to do that. They don't call. They don't care. It's like this is what we're fighting for. To have a little bit of that still means something. Morals. I'm not saying I'm like some like, oh, so holy and moral and I haven't made mistakes, of course, but it comes back to you. What you put out comes back. So I don't know, you try to do the right thing and sometimes you definitely don't get rewarded in this life for doing the right thing. It seems like, right? You try to do the right thing. You end up getting screwed over. What is it? The no good deed goes unpunished, right? That's the problem. But we got to fix it. We got to turn it back around. That the good guy can win. I think that the good guy can win. And I think the good guy in the end will win, But this is what life is. It's a journey. It's a comedy of errors. It's a chat. It's a story. We're all the main character in our story. So we can write a better story. We do have the power to change it. But like I said in the video, we're here to just go through this together and watch this crazy shift of humanity happening and save some of that humanity and whatever, just remind each other that there are some people out there. And I hope you guys find me. And again, thank you so much to Patriot 250 for being here. I don't know if you're still here. Thank you, Elias, for coming in. Thank you, Dan. And everyone else who might be watching, thank you so much. I'm Hollis. And just before I go, I will say, check out my website, hollismahady.com. If you want to join my Buy Me a Coffee community, you could go over there. Like I said, I'm going to be doing my Comedy of Errors podcast. That's all just about music. And that's if you become a Backstage Pass member. And it's $10 a month. And you get a lot of stuff for it. And I'm going to do all these other podcasts. It's just for the music. I'm only doing it on that page. So I don't care even if there's only 2 people. I'm doing it for us. And eventually maybe other people will find it. But I'm literally just doing it there because, you put your music out to the world, but, not everybody needs to hear the whole story. But if there are people interested and really want to go deep and see all the stuff behind it, that's what it's for. And it's kind of, like I said, a time capsule for me to record it. And because I've been waiting a whole lifetime for it. So hollismahady.com, you could see the links there for Buy Me a Coffee. There's also the link there for the Reconnection Movement. If you want to download the PDF for free, you can look at that. Send it to a friend. And if you like this, again, tune back in because I'm going to come back on tomorrow. At least, I don't know if it's going to be as long as I went tonight, but I'm thinking to try to do it every night at least for an hour, but maybe 2 hours. And yeah, we'll build something cool here. But I guess until next time, maybe that'll just be tomorrow. So thank you so much for listening. And if you managed to stay here between, in the interim when the robot attacked my soundboard there, thank you for staying. And, I don't know. That's it, guys. Okay, so, I'm going to close it. Oh, I love this song. Okay, so I'm closing the show with my outro goodbye video. And it's just saying goodbye. But at the end, there's a song. It's called Lights. And I just think it's such a beautiful song. I love this song. And I will be playing it every show at the end, just like I'll be playing the intro song in the beginning. All right. And if you like the song, that's where I get it, Epidemic Sound. And that's on my website too. So we'll talk more tomorrow. But this has been awesome. It's been a great show. I had a lot of fun. And I can't wait to see what the future holds. Because remember, if you're longing for something, create it. If you're needing something, find others like us who are needing it too, and we'll help each other. And we'll get through this crazy journey we call life together. All right? Okay. Thank you so much. I love you, and I will see you tomorrow. Okay, here's the video.
Thank you for watching Hollistics, hosted by me, Hollis Mahady. If you enjoyed the show, be sure to share it with someone who might need it too. And if you'd like to support the podcast, you can visit buymeacoffee.com/Hollis Mahady. You can make a one-time donation or become a member for just a few dollars a month to get extra podcasts and exclusive behind-the-scenes content you won't find anywhere else. Or simply scan the code on the screen. Your support truly means the world to me and helps me continue creating independent content for you. If you like the music featured in this show, I license it through Epidemic Sound. You can head over to hollismahady.com, click on the podcast page, and use my link for a free trial. And don't forget to check out VOPUSARadio.com, where I host my music channel and am building a growing community of independent musicians. If you're interested in joining the network, just click Join Network and submit an application. Until next time, remember that you are loved and never alone. From human to human, big hugs. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you next time. Enjoy the outro video. I love this song.
Lights shining from the window late at night. I'm just watching someone else's life go by, wishing it was mine. Dreams, everybody has them at the start. Somewhere along the way they fall apart, and it makes it kinda hard to look up at the lights. When the lights go out, everything is clearer. When the lights go out, I can finally see understand. When the lights go out, everything is clear. When the lights go out, I could finally see. When the lights go out, everything is clearer. When the lights go out, I could finally see what it's all about. Standing in the mirror, when the lights go out, it's you looking back at me. Hope, try your best to hold on to the rope. We all have a reason to let go, and it's easier to do, but it's better if we don't.